now. One, fight!
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Tournament Fights. This is one of the newer shows on the Movie Hero Network that we basically take some of our favorite topics. We throw it in the tournament of 64, and we just vote round by round until we determine a grand champion. So today is one of the reasons why I actually created Tournament Fights, is because I really wanted to do a tournament of the best stand-up comedians of all time. So I'm super excited to do this episode. So I'll go ahead and introduce our panel of guests we'll have joining us tonight. So first off, we have my co-host, Austin Pez Howell.
Hello. Who better than a bunch of people sitting down than to talk about people standing up? It's going to be a real barn burner tonight as we determine the greatest stand-up comedian of all time according to our panel. And one of my new favorite shows here on the channel, Tournament Fights. This one's going to be a barn burner, Jordan. This one's going to be crazy.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then next up, we have Paul Preston. How's it going?
Hey, I'm excited to watch this.
Yeah, right. You got the popcorn ready and everything. Perfect.
Listen, don't ask me to stand up. You know how Zoom works.
Right. All right. And then we have Peggy Gubbins, PG. Joining us.
How's it going? I was just saying in the private chat, I'm like, if you don't introduce me last and say and Peggy, it's a missed opportunity, and you just missed the opportunity.
I know, right? And Peggy. Yeah. And then also, we have the other half of the movie guys coming in. We have Adam Witt. How's it going?
Hello. I'm happy to be here and talk some comedy. If there's one thing I know better than, or almost as good as movies, it would be comedy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so you can kind of see who some of us might be kind of rooting for based on some of the nicknames. I will be your host tonight. I'm Jordan Laugh Riot Anderson, because if you know me, I am a Laugh Riot. So.
He is advocating for laugh riots everywhere.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so we'll just jump into it. So Austin, if you kind of want to break it down while I pull up the bracket here, you can kind of let everyone know how it's
going to work. Very excited to see this bracket.
So everybody on this panel here has been a part of our other show, Tier Ranker Fights, but this is Tournament Fights. This is not Tier Ranker Fights. The main difference is we don't want your essays and diatribes about 5 minutes long about how your history of the person and how much they make you laugh and how many specials you've seen. That doesn't matter. This is rapid fire, fast paced decisions. We have a bracket of 64 comedians, and we're going to break it all the way down to
64.
One, piece by piece by piece. Yeah. So that means we have 67 individual matchups we got to get to. Ooh. So the key here is, every bracket, we got to keep everybody's opinion to 20 seconds or less. That's how we get through this thing. We've done the math, folks. Oh. This is how we do it. It's a Coke or Pepsi, one or the other. You can vote for any reason your heart's desire. If you like one over the other, if you think one's more annoying than the other, if you can't stand one of them over the other, it doesn't matter your reason. We just need your vote. So how we do it, Jordan will pull up the bracket. We start at the bottom of the tower. We go all work our way up. Everybody gets their vote. And obviously we have 5 people here, so we won't need a tiebreaker just yet, but we might if Peggy steps aside at some point here in the show for just a second. But we'll explain that when we get there. But it's literally rapid fire. We need those votes. That's what makes it so much fun and so difficult, is you never know what'll pop up and what's going to go on. Everything has been thrown into a randomizer. We have no idea of the brackets that are coming, other than Jordan, who has seen the bracket, obviously. So anything could happen in round one. And essentially, when we get down to the 16 or so, we'll take like a 5-minute halftime. If anybody needs to take a quick break, we'll kind of discuss the bracket so far, see what's gone down, see any stories that are emerging, and just kind of discuss it till we get to our number one. So that's kind of how it works. Anybody got any questions? Questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah.
So it should be fun. So what we'll do is we'll start at the bottom, kind of like the Mortal Kombat Tower. Adam Witt will be our first vote in this one, and then when we get to the second fight, Peggy will be the first vote, and so on and so forth. And we will rotate. That's how we do it.
All right. You guys have put a lot of work into
Jordan.
this.
Oh
Yeah, and I do want
There we
to
go.
It's a lot of fun.
No,
Let's
give a
have
little
some
shout out.
fun.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I do want to give a little shout out to the website Bracket Fights. Our show is actually called Tournament Fights. That's their website we're actually using here. So a little
I
shout
used to
out
do
to them.
bracket battles. I used to do bracket battles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice, awesome.
Yeah. Anyways.
And now I just know Paul's brain is going there as well. Like, how can we apply this to the dumbest topic possible after we're done doing this this serious one?
It's funny you should, Adam. It's funny you should mention that because pretty
Yeah, right.
soon, Jordan and I and some of our co-hosts are going to be doing. We're going to be throwing each 16 of movies we just don't understand or really hate,
Okay,
and we're going to
right.
vote on the worst of the worst. So
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
gonna do something completely opposite. We're going to do something with the IMDb bottom 100 at some point. Throw like 64 of those in there. You can literally do this with any topic. That's what makes it.
Roger
Yeah,
Spottiswoode
you can-
movies is coming to mind.
Right, there you go. Right.
And
Best,
Mr. Darris flicks.
Anything possible.
best
Yeah.
occupations of the guy to lose the girl at the end of a romantic comedy bracket
Yeah.
fight.
Yes, I like it. Yeah, and also too, when we get down to the Elite Eight, we're going to be throwing them into a poll over on the Showdown Friends and Family group. So we'll let the community hash out what we decide for our top 8, and they can kind of vote and
All right.
and have a little conversation there and see how we did. Yep.
Correct or not?
Interactive.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Such a shame
Ooh,
when Peggy
engagement.
when Peggy returns from a break and sees no one she likes left on the bracket.
Right.
Right. Yep.
Seems to be
Don't
toss
turn it off.
toss Stanhope out for that time he stole my prop at that show in Chicago.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna need to hear that story, Adam.
Yeah, you will.
All right.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll get into the first
Well,
matchup.
if everybody's
so-
ready, then we'll scroll on down and see what we got.
All right.
What's
so
our first matchup
our
going to
first-
be? We're about to find out. Oh boy! So we've got. Oh man, these are heavy hitters
Louis
right away.
CK
Louis C.K.
versus Norman Mcdonald. Yeah.
Wow. All right.
So it's either A or B. So
A
we'll
or
start
B.
with Adam. You're up first.
Well, obviously, in terms of some of these, we have to put the public perception of whether they're a creep or not aside, because
Yeah.
really we just don't know that Norm Macdonald is also a creep. I mean, he's got to be, right? Come on.
It seems like it. It kind of seems like it.
I mean, I gotta go Louie, man. I just came across an old episode of Louie streaming somewhere, and I'm just like, I forgot about him because he did wrong, he did bad, and we rightfully tossed him out of the immediate conversation circle. He still does comedy out there, but man, the arc from that, his comedy to that show is, in terms of artistry, is so good, and he is such a good stand-up comedian. Norm Macdonald is almost like an anti-comedian in a weird
Yeah.
way. He's almost like trying to fail a little bit, and this is not exactly how you do this, and he's got his own delivery, but in terms of like pure technical skill, and then, I know we're not talking about TV shows that they did beyond that, but the fact that there's a stand-up element, and so many things from that show have a base in a stand-up act a piece that you can find from him. You're like, oh, that's kind of that piece he did, and he just put it on TV. So, I mean, Louie, there's no, and also Norm was part of that terrible years of Saturday Night Live. I'll never forgive him for that. So there we go.
Oh, his
Yep,
weekend
yep.
update was great. Okay.
He was actually the only
Yeah.
good thing those years, but yeah.
Well, Jordan, glad to see Adam was paying attention when I said 20 to 30 seconds. And
Yeah.
we're sure to move on to the next person.
We all got stuff to do after this.
Yeah.
No time for anybody
reemphasize
else. So Louis C.K.
Adam, let me reemphasize: we have 67 of these to get through. So please, let's keep our comments to a
Right.
minimum. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
But Peggy, who you got
Peggy,
here?
who do you vote for?
In these
I
two?
think through all that he voted for Louis. I think so.
I did.
Somewhere in there. Okay, gotcha.
I get that Norm Macdonald is a humorous individual. I adored him when he hosted Weekend Updated, and you kept making fun of Frank Stallone every now and again. But
Yeah.
maybe Louis C.K., despite the personal stuff, is, I think, a prolific comedian. I know his show, we're talking about straight stand-up, but his show Louis was great, and he is a very talented individual. I gotta go Louis C.K.
All right.
All right. Well,
Paul.
Paul.
Oh, we're going to make this easy
Yeah.
because once I choose Louis C.K., then you guys don't even have to say anything, and we save time that we lost
Right,
with Adam's
yeah.
rant. But it is
Right.
Louis C.K. First of all, Norm Macdonald makes me fall down laughing.
Yeah, Paul is a
Funny.
huge Norm fan, so this is
Huge
actually
fan.
huge. Yeah.
But I can't deny that the takes Louis C.K. has on things that you just don't see coming at all. Topic after topic after topic for years are super impressive. Now, again, there's already an asterisk on this entire show because you haven't included one of the most influential comedians in the history of all time, which is what we're judging here, Bill Cosby in this. So I guess we're not able to differentiate him or Woody Allen, but Woody has less of a stand-up career. But if Louis in there, he's got my vote.
All right. Sounds good. Austin?
Well, even though it doesn't matter at this point, I'll give some love to Norm Mcdonald. I've been kind of on a Norm high lately, watching a lot of his clips, so I'll just give it to Norm for this one.
I got to go with the anal rape jokes from Norm Mcdonald, which I don't normally advocate for that kind of thing, but those are the kind of jokes that he tells, and they always crack me up, even though they're like totally raunchy, with the top. But I mean, yeah, I got to go with Norm Mcdonald. But I mean, we already know who's. But despite the last love for Norm Mcdonald, Louis C.K. is going to win this one 3-2, and he's going to move on. Right.
All right.
Very interesting.
Moving on to the next round.
What do we got here?
Jim Jeffries.
Versus
Kidding me.
Yeah.
I hate this match.
Got tough
so
ones in the
much.
first round. Yeah.
Every one of Sophie's choice.
This is what makes tournament fights, and what makes it so fun and stressful at the same time.
I hate it.
Yeah.
That's great.
And Peggy,
This is like
guess what?
Elite 8 level,
You're the first vote.
Final 4 level matchup. I don't like this at all. And I have to go first.
Yeah, you got to go first.
Oh, gosh. Jim, I adore you if you're ever watching this. You are fantastic. Your gun control rant is one of my favorites, but the World Hunger one from Sam Kinison is just timeless. I have to vote Sam.
Yeah.
All right.
I hate this.
Paul?
Well, you're talking about two great routines there.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you. In terms of variety of takes,
I'm okay with whatever way
I like Jim Jeffries. I saw Jim Jeffries last Wednesday here in Burbank. He's prepping a new special, and his hour is rock solid. And because it's LA, Jay Leno and Howie Mandel did opening sets. It was just insane. It's like the most insane night you ever saw.
Wow.
But Jim, Jim's I mean, I hate to say this too, but he's going to have a longer career. Just by living. He probably already does. So I'm going to go with Jim for variety. I know Kinison's groundbreaking, but I don't know if he had variety of takes. He had the angry take, and he did a lot with it. And I mean, I quote him all the time. But I think Jeffries is a bit more of a variety. I go with Jim.
Yeah, Austin. You got
Well, how come you never talk about men? Why don't you ever talk about men? Because a man never broke my fucking heart. Oh, I go Sam Kinison all the way.
Yeah, for me,
It's heartbreaking.
I got to go Jim Jeffries just because of the sheer amount that Sam Kinison just yells constantly. Like, I feel like he just gets on stage and just is constantly yelling like the whole time. And it's funny for so long, but then it kind of just gets a little grating to me. And despite how many times Jim Jeffries uses the word cunt in his act, like so many times over and over again, I still got to vote for him. For some reason, I'm going dirty tonight. So, yeah, I got to go with Jim Jeffries.
But that's dude, where he's from.
Yeah,
these are like the two least dirty comedians in the entire show, I think, tonight. Somehow.
Right, so yeah, somehow.
Well, Adam, it's 2-2 so far. Who are you putting through?
This is going to rear its ugly head all night. I grew up during the '80s comedy boom, and just because he died, Sam Kinison. There were some comedians and there's a bunch of comedians that came at that time where someone was playing that tape, and you're like, what is this? And it's just something completely different, whether it's Andy Kaufman or Bobcat Goldthwait or, just a comedian after comedian who's completely different. I mean, Sam Kinison is one of those things of like, I mean, look at that photo. Like, I don't care how much material Jeffries does, the epicness and the candle that burns twice as bright of Sam Kinison just cannot be denied. His material actually kind of sucked compared to Jeffries, but I don't know if we're here to talk about that. We're talking about an icon right there.
Right.
I got to go Sam, baby.
All right.
Well,
I
that-
don't like
Time to go for your favorites.
All right, Peggy, you buried him.
Yeah,
You
this
buried
is
him.
what-
Yep, Sam
I love you,
Kinison.
Jim.
Yeah.
All right.
But
What picky fucking eated pandas are. I know the whole.
yeah,
I love Jim Jeffries, but
yeah.
Jim Jeffries is great.
But moving on to the next round, we have Jim Gaffigan.
Gaffigan.
Oh,
Against Stephen Wright. Stephen
Against
Wright.
Stephen Wright.
Jim Gaffigan.
Yeah.
wow.
So,
Ooh.
yep.
Right. And
As a tiebreaker,
Mr.
Totally
Preston.
different comics, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Preston is up first. So what do you got?
yeah.
I got to take Adam's lead on this one and say time is on Stephen Wright's side. I mean, I have a pony. I listen to beginning
Still
to end.
funny.
Yeah, all the time. And he carved a niche for himself that Gaffigan's kind of followed in the wake of Wright a little bit, but more in
Yeah.
the wake of other comedians. Whereas Wright, I mean, I think Dimitri Martin maybe followed in Stephen Wright's, even though he's veered from that a little bit. But Stephen Wright, he's a genre. And so I go with him.
Yeah.
All right.
Austin?
Just as far as who I've listened to more, this one's going to go to Gaffigan for me. The fact that he can make like an hour out of all the different foods he's eaten and just talk about it for an hour is pretty damn genius and keep it going. So I'm going to go with Jim Gaffigan on this because I like food a lot.
Food, yeah.
I also meant
Yep.
to say I saw Stephen Wright in Buffalo years ago, and a fight broke out in the audience while he was doing his act, and he never broke the monotone. It was brilliant.
That's
He
awesome.
just waited for it to end, and then he went on. It's crazy.
All right, Jordan.
Well, Stephen Wright's someone that I did listen to a lot more recently, but I gotta go with the comedian that I've seen 4 times live, and I've read all of his books. I gotta go with Jim Gaffigan for me. Like, he's just so relatable to me. Like, I gotta go with Jim. Adam?
All right, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be the 40-year-old here and go again with Stephen Wright, although that was my initial thought. But even though, yes, Stephen Wright absolutely created a niche for himself, he is an epic comedy voice and very different from everybody else. I do have to say, Gaffigan has done so much material, and all of it kills, that I'm actually gonna dump Stephen Wright here, even though my instinct is to go with the epic classic 80s guy. I'm actually gonna go Gaffigan here because he's just so epic and transcends 2 decades at this point.
Yeah.
And Peggy?
Well, Peggy? Yeah.
It's decided Gaffigan, right?
Yeah, but
you can still vote for your. You
I
can
mean,
still throw your love for whoever you want.
This one is a toss-up. It's 50-50 for me. I'm happy Gaffigan's gone through, so I'm good.
Yep.
So I didn't vote Gaffigan, my girlfriend's favorite comic, and now he lost. Thanks.
Oh, somebody's in the
Right?
doghouse. Oh, you're in trouble.
Yeah. Well, she won't know if she doesn't watch
Right?
the show. Gaffigan goes through, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
won't
yeah.
tell her, and she ain't gonna watch this.
Yeah.
I sent her the link already. But
Oh.
Oh boy.
Well, keep watching those
Right.
comments.
All right.
That's nice.
Well, moving on, we have Bill Burr.
Bill Burr.
Going against
And
Amy
Amy
Schumer.
Schumer.
Cake.
All right.
Yeah. So this time we
Yeah.
start with
That's
with
a
Austin.
Yeah. Yeah, this one's not terribly difficult. Schumer's okay, but Bill Burr is like the king of stand-up right now. So, and he makes me laugh almost harder than anybody. So I go Bill Burr pretty easily on this one.
Yeah, this one's easy for me too. I got to go Bill Burr. Like he's just like way ahead of Amy Schumer in my mind. So, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, I love Amy Schumer, and she has a style, but again, consistency, and I mean, Burr puts out a brand new act every year, and I do just love his tone. Like, it's like somebody who can be angry for you. There's something to that. You're like, and
Yep.
Amy Schumer can observe for me, but man, sometimes I'm just, and especially lately, I'm just like, somebody be pissed for me. Great, Bill Burr, let's do this. So I'll go Bill Burr.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Peggy?
Bill Burr was one of my bucket list comedians to see, and I got to see him on his 50 tour at the Chicago Theater. There's no way I'm
Nice.
not voting for Burr.
Nice.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Paul?
Paul?
Yay, I don't have to vote.
Yeah.
You can still always
have to.
vote, even if it's already outnumbered. You can always vote for.
Well, I
if you
bet
wanna
if
vote for the
Amy
other person just
Schumer-
because.
If Amy Schumer were a Star Wars property, Adam would have voted differently.
Yeah.
Oh, this is true. You're right. Yeah. In the back of my head.
All right. Well,
One of
Bill
these
Burr
two
takes
is in the
this one.
Mandalorian.
Yep.
Bill Burr takes this one
Bill
pretty
Burr,
easily, Jordan.
moving on.
So he's
Yep.
going to move on.
Yep.
All right.
Basically unanimous, though. And we'll move on. We got Louis Black.
Louis Black
against
and
Gilbert
Oh,
Godfrey.
wow.
Ooh.
Yep. The matchups just keep rolling. So I guess I'm first. All right.
Yeah, you're first, Jordan.
So-
What do you got?
So there were two stand-up comedians with very distinctive voices, I will
Yeah.
say. But I mean, for me, I just think that Louis Black just kind of edges it out for me just a little bit. They both get a little angry too, so like I appreciate that. But I mean, yeah, I think that Louis Black just by a slight margin for me. Adam, what you got?
Well, again, it's the same as earlier. We've got an epic classic in Gilbert Godfreed, but he's done exactly the same act for 35 years. It's like, I mean, I don't know. Besides the voice, it's like I actually immediately go, "Oh, what a comic legend!" But also like, yeah, I don't know if he's any good actually. whereas, what's his face? Is
Louis Black.
Louis Black.
That's what Gilbert Godfrey is.
Not Gilbert Godfreed. Again, it's just based on more material. Neither of these guys are my favorite, but I'll go Louis Black on this one.
All
All right, Peggy.
Peggy.
It's not soy milk. It's soy juice.
Soy juice.
I think, that's one of my favorite. I mean, Godfreed is a comedic icon. I mean, they did a whole documentary on him, but just if I'm going best of all time, I'm advancing Louis Black. Sorry, just saying.
Yep. Paul.
The Aristocrats is a classic Gilbert thing that everyone did their own take on. And Gilbert's kind of the short, quick Catskill jokes, but super filthy. Louis Black dives a little deeper and has a bit more to say. So, yeah, I go with him too.
Yeah. Austin.
Yeah. Gilbert's one of the great joke tellers of all time as far as his delivery. But I've owned every Louis Black album since the White Album back in '99, and he has an amazing array of material, and he's one of my personal, probably top 10 of all time. So I go Louis Black pretty hard on this one.
Austin, you got to go to the National Comedy Center in Jamestown, New York. Louis is heavily involved in that, and he is the voice of many of the exhibits.
Oh wow!
And
nice.
you'll totally
Awesome.
dig that.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds
All right.
awesome.
Well, Louis
And the
Black.
fact that the people when they made Inside Out said, if we don't get Louis Black
Oh.
for anger, we just don't do it at all.
What a
And
slam
that's what
dunk,
they based
right?
it on. Yeah,
What a
right.
slam dunk.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Perfect casting for that, but
Oh my god!
All right.
Maybe the most perfect casting of any role, I think.
yeah.
Oh, here we
Yeah.
go.
Oh boy, George Carlin
Are
again,
you
Martin
kidding?
Lawrence.
Later, Martin.
Martin Lawrence. Yep, all right.
That's
All right.
awesome, though.
Yeah. Oh.
Going up against the Juggernaut. So
Yeah, it's a juggernaut, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
But Adam's
You're
up first
first,
on
Adam.
this one.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, Martin Lawrence, not only did he host Def Comedy Jam, and he, actually had some influence in getting other people their start. So he's definitely an epic comedian, and his TV show, and then, of course, goes into the movies, Bad Boys and everything. I mean, he transcends a couple decades himself, but man, George Carlin, going back to the 50s club days before he made a complete change into being the hippie, and he does every type of piece in his acts. And then he just did a comedy special every year for like 20 years. I mean, it's Carlin, baby. Yeah. Sorry,
Oh,
Martin.
Mhm.
he's the legend. So
Also, Martin Lawrence stopped.
yep.
And not because he died.
Yeah. Right. Peggy, what do you got?
You So Crazy is a excellent special, but Carlin's just an icon. He's just a legend. He's just a titan in stand-up comedy. There's no way you can't vote him ahead. It's Carlin.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Paul.
Speaking of the National Comedy Center, the Blue Room is dedicated to Carlin, Pryor,
Oh, the
and
Blue
Lenny
Room.
Bruce. They have their own
Okay.
space. The rest of the museum's family friendly. You take an elevator, especially to the Blue Room, because it opens on the 7 words you can't say on television, and they're spoken to you over a speaker as soon as you enter.
Wow.
And you get to see everything there. 4 Grammys, hosted the first ever SNL. I mean,
Oh, wow, yeah.
because of the 7 words, that went all the way to the Supreme Court, where they
did.
eventually, didn't help him. They voted against him, but it created something for comedians to fight against. And who better to lead it than the king of counterculture,
Right.
spoken word revolution than George Carlin? He's the guy for me. He went to jail with Lenny Bruce.
Yeah.
Because he admitted he broke the law just to go to jail with Lenny Bruce.
That shouldn't hurt me too. Why
He's the
not?
best.
Serious.
And do you remember what Lenny Bruce said to him when he told him that inside the paddy
I
wagon?
can't remember.
He goes, "You idiot."
Yep.
So Carlin.
Yeah.
Well, Austin, you got.
I got love for Martin Lawrence. I worked at a movie theater when his Run Till That special in 2002 actually came out in theaters, and I watched it a couple times on my breaks, and it's really, really funny, and I've got respect for him, but Carlin is Carlin, and he's like my go-to road trip comedian, to put on. I've listened to all of his albums dozens of times. I mean, this one pretty easily goes to Carlin.
But that is pretty radical and in the comedy tradition to actually get a concert film. I forgot Martin had a concert film.
Yeah, he had one. It's called Run
Carlin
Till
actually
That,
never
and
had, but
came out.
I do love that.
And
Concert
he's
films.
crazy. No, they were two.
Two, yeah. So that's pretty cool. And when comedians have concert films, that is a level. We got to remember that for the future voting.
Yep. Yeah, for me, I grew up watching the show Martin, like Damn Gina, like all that stuff, which is just so much fun. Or like when he dressed up as Shanae, all that stuff was a lot of fun. But I mean, George Carlin is a legend, and I got to go with Rufus from Bill and Ted. So I mean, and he's done so much for the comedy world that like I mean, yeah, you could go on for like
He's
an
in
hour, the whole
Dogma.
show. Yeah, right.
He's
So,
in
yeah.
Prince of Tides.
Oh, is he?
He's the engineer. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey, he's Mr. Conductor.
Mr. Conductor, that's it. Conductor.
Right.
Yep. So I got to go George for sure.
Yeah, it's unfair for Martin, but he just went up against Carlin.
It is what it is.
It's like
Sorry, he didn't go up against Norm Macdonald. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Kick his
Yeah, I
ass.
know.
Brutal. All right, what's next?
What's next?
Got the look of the randomizer, but next up we have Daniel
Okay.
Tosh.
Daniel Tosh?
Okay.
Then like Gary Shandling.
Versus Gary
Oh.
Shandling.
Ah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, what do we do?
All right.
And a newer one versus the classic. So
Why could you
yeah,
just match up after I had to peace out for a second?
yeah, right.
Well, Peggy's up
Well, you're
first
up,
this
Peggy.
time, so.
Okay, so. Oh, it's so hard.
I don't want to have to make the first choice here. I agonize that Peggy has to.
Okay, so. Oh, God. I mean, there's Tosh. But we're going straight stand-up comedy. We're not.
Yeah.
Straight stand-up.
But obviously that stuff influences.
I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
totally.
Gary Shandling show is going to
Yeah.
influence.
Larry Sanders
Yeah,
was
yeah,
really
right.
good, yeah.
Mhm.
And then Tosh
Yeah,
Point
but it'll
and everything.
influence.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, there is no documentary shot by Judd Apatow on Daniel Tosh. So, I mean, Gary Shandling.
Not yet,
He's,
right?
I mean, he influenced a bunch of people. I guarantee you, Tosh will be an influence to so many who are already coming down the pipeline right now. But overall, I gotta go Gary. I don't like it though.
Paul.
Tosh is just a young punk. Not a bad thing, but just a bunch of young punk comedians out
Funny,
there
though.
doing stuff. But when you don't, and I don't mean to spoil this for the listeners, but when you don't have Andy Kaufman on the list, or Jake Johansson, or Steve Harvey, or David Spade, Dennis Leary, Dennis Miller, Bob
Yep.
Goldthwait, I can't
Right.
imagine Daniel
Wayans.
Tosh being on this list. So, and I was going to say the same thing. Let's see how make a film about him. Not going to happen. And if for nothing else, when I was watching the Grammys and Gary Shandling was talking about the classical Grammy, and he's talking about the music of Handel. He was at Handel, Megadeth. What is it? And I fell out of my chair. Gary Shandling.
Oh yeah, Austin.
Paul, to be fair, I wanted to put Andy Kaufman on the list, except for the fact that he would be disrespected by being called a comedian because he's not a comedian, and he would hate that. So he would not want to be on the comedian list because he's a performance artist. So anyways, but yeah, I'll go with Gary Shandling on this one. His bit about his dog Shep getting his dog balls chopped off is one of the funniest bits I've ever heard. It's really, really funny.
Yeah.
So I'll go with Gary Shandling on this one.
Yeah, and for me, for whatever reason, Daniel Tosh never really resonated with me all that much. Like the show was fine. Like I think he's a perfectly fine comedian. Like I don't really find him great. I don't find him terrible. So, but Gary Shandling's great. Like the Larry Sanders Show or the Gary Shandling Show, either one. Like they're both great. So yeah, I gotta go with Gary
Underappreciated
Shandling.
theme song. The Gary
Yeah, right.
I forgot about that.
But Adam,
This is the theme to Gary
Yes.
Show, the opening theme to Gary Show. Gary called me up and asked if I would write his theme song. We're almost halfway finished. How do you like it so far? This is the theme to Gary Shandling Show. 2 radical TV shows. I know we're only talking about stand-up here, but how do you get there? Why, you get invited over to the couch by Johnny Carson your very first time on The Tonight Show. Gary Shandling is epic. And I love Daniel Tosh. He makes me laugh probably more than Gary Shandling in terms of pure stand-up, but no way.
Yeah.
We're going Gary Shandling here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Theme song
It's
so
unanimous.
Perfect Strangers, though.
Oh yeah.
It's my favorite.
Yep.
Hey, it sounds like a new bracket we could do.
I will so
Opening
be in that
theme song.
episode. I will
sure.
sign up
Like-
for that episode right now.
Right.
I'd be down for that. Totally. But coming up next, we got Dane Cook going up against Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais.
Oh, this is
All right.
this is a good matchup actually, because they're
Yeah,
they're both dislikable in a certain way and both likable in a certain way.
Right.
He's got a Boba Fett shirt on, Dane.
Yep.
They know what to do.
All right. We start with Paul on this one.
Yeah.
Well, I go Ricky Gervais on this. Dane Cook came along and found a huge audience with observational stand-up. Took the bro angle, which and monopolized it. No one had done that, and yeah, you can't deny his fame and his thing. But again, I'm a big fan of the counterculture voice, and that Carlin started. Ricky has that in spades, and the way he incorporates audio visual for his rips of religion in his stand-up performances, I think is great. And also, he has everything he does for like 2 years. The Office, Extras, and he had a podcast on Sirius, which was him and other British stand-up comedians. And if it wasn't the most effective and learned conversation about stand-up comedy that you'll ever hear, it was amazing to hear it. He did it for 2 years. It's gone. It's not even archived. It's an asshole. For that, I can't forgive him. But that's not enough for me to not vote for him. Ricky Gervais.
Yep. Austin.
Gervais is awesome, but I got to be honest. I was obsessed with Dane Cook for like 4 or 5 years. Like I listened to everything he put out, and to me, he was like my favorite comedian for a good chunk of my probably early 20s, I would say. So I just have to be honest and go with Dane Cook, just because he kind of took over my life for a little while and was my favorite stand-up for a few years. So I'll go Dane Cook on this one.
Yeah, and this one's tough for me. This is the toughest one so far because I have so much love for Ricky Gervais, but Dane Cook I was actually pretty obsessed with for a while. Kind of came up in my kind of like probably just after high school era, and Dane Cook actually helped me get one of the girls that I dated for a couple of years because we were on the fence about it, and then I showed her Dane Cook, and we had this afternoon where we just laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed for so long listening to his albums, and so because of that, I got to go with Dane Cook because I wouldn't have had that girl without him. But Adam.
This one's very tough because The Office is very influential. I mean, again, I guess we're technically studying stand-up, but most of the stuff for Ricky Gervais is
influences
ancillary
count.
to
I mean,
Right.
it is.
The Office was such a huge influence for me. But I gotta say, when a friend of mine who didn't have any stand-up albums had all of Dane Cook's albums and let me rip them, and for my entire ride and flight back home once, I listened to all of Dane Cook's albums, and Album comedy had died a full death. There weren't albums anymore. And Dane Cook brought that back. And he's very near and dear to my heart to the fact that he brought back album comedy. And even the alt comics of the late 90s, early 2000s all started putting out albums again, which when vinyl came back, they all started putting out vinyl again. There's a direct line between Dane Cook and all that. So I actually, despite my love of The Office, I have to go Dane Cook here.
All right. Well, Peggy? What do you think?
I had Cook's album, the whole itchy asshole bit. I remember that. And the shark, the sharks with lasers, whatever. But Ricky Gervais is kind of a comedic institution, especially over in the UK. So, if you've never seen the show Afterlife, if you've ever gone through grief or loss, it gets really dark, but it's got a happy ending. It's kind of like It's a Wonderful Life that way. You gotta stick with it the whole thing, but it's worth the payoff. And I know that's not what we're drafting, but stand up, influence, everything. I know that Dane Cook had huge, I don't want to say flash in the pan because he's still around and he's still working on his craft and everything, but he had a huge peak back in early 2000s.
He peaked.
Yeah.
Unreasonably.
Yeah. So I mean,
picked hard. Yeah.
I gotta go Ricky. I gotta go Gervais. And I think this is the point where I gotta peace out for a little bit, but I will be listening, and I will speak in the chat while I can.
All right.
And I'll be back.
Okay. Fair enough.
All right.
By the way, can I
Sounds good.
showcase here that Malcolm said, "Are we sure that is Dane Cook and not Christian Harloff?" And I have to point that out because one of my favorite jokes that Paul and I did was at the Schmodown Expo, the first Schmodown Fan Expo. Paul and I love playing to an audience of 50 or less, and so this joke was just for that room. But we signed headshots of other Schmodown performers. We signed headshots of Ben Bateman, Mark Ellis, and then Christian Harloff, which we had put under a headshot of Dane Cook. So we were signing Christian Harloff to Dane Cook. So anyway.
That's amazing. I love that so much. All right, I'll be back in a sec, guys.
Okay.
Miss you.
I'll miss you too, but I'll be listening. I promise.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But with that, Dane Cook actually
Dane
moves
Cook
on,
3-2. We haven't had a
Dane
close
Cook
one.
3-2,
We've
okay.
had a lot
That's-
of clean sweeps, but 3-2 for Dane Cook. Yeah, he takes
And
it.
that's a tough choice there. That's one of those
tough.
tough. I had to reason that out.
And Jordan, just since we have 4 for the time being, let me just quickly explain how our tiebreaker works. How the tiebreaker works is the vote for the tiebreaker rotates much like we're rotating currently with our actual votes. So if we come to a tiebreaker, it will start with Adam. Adam will get the tie-breaking vote to start. And then if we have another tiebreaker, Paul will get the tie-breaking vote. And also with the tie-breaking vote, it doesn't matter what you vote for first. If you want to change it last minute, you can change it last minute. That's the one thing of the tiebreaker vote we decided is you can flip it last minute if you need to or if you want to.
You mean if we go to the next matchup and go, ugh, I want to change it?
Yeah, right.
Not that.
Not that far?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, let's say you had the tiebreaker and you voted for Dane, but at the last second you want to flip it to Ricky. You could have flipped it to Ricky and put him through. So that's just how that works.
Yeah.
All right.
But moving on to the next
we'll move on.
matchup, we have Steve Martin going against Richard
Versus
Pryor.
Richard Pryor.
Oh.
Dang.
Ugh.
This might be one of the
All
toughest
right.
yet.
I knew I was going to come off like a racist at the end of this.
Serious. So something start with Paul? Is that right?
Yeah, it starts with me. Paul went last time.
Oh, you. Okay.
First. So, yeah. I got to be honest. Neither one of these guys is one of my favorites overall, just as far as sheer laugh count. So
you're too young to fully get these guys.
I'm too young to fully appreciate it. I have listened to a bunch of stuff. I mean, I've listened to a bunch of Pryor. I've seen a bunch of Martin. I know Martin wrote a book about stand-up. I understand that. For this one, I'm going to give the slight edge, even though I'm not enthusiastic overly about either one of them. I'll give it to Pryor slightly.
Right.
All right. And I think for me, even though I'm one of the younger guys here, I actually love both of these. I've heard several of their stand-up specials, and this one's tough. It's every round I keep saying this is the toughest one yet. It gets harder and harder, but it's probably I don't know. I just feel like they're both super influential, but I think Richard Pryor might be a tad bit more influential as far as stand-up comedy goes. So I got to go with Richard Pryor on this one, I think. But it hurts to not vote for Steve Martin. But yeah. But Adam, here you go.
Well, you are likely only talking to me now because of Steve Martin. I don't know if I get obsessed with comedy without stealing my stepdad's Let's Get Small cassette in 1978 or something, and it was absolutely brilliant and transcendent. But to take a step back and think of stand-up comedy as a whole, this is a great matchup because both of these guys broke comedy. Richard Pryor really brought the let me talk about my life aspect into comedy in such a big bad way, and he was such a public persona, and he did characters. I mean, actually, he and Steve Martin are such good matchup because he did characters and stuff that was not traditional stand-up, and Steve Martin did. I mean, whatever he did was not traditional stand-up at all, and it was the candle that burned twice as bright. However, Richard Pryor launched 1,000 ships, and Steve Martin launched a couple dozen, I would say, in terms of influencing stand-up. So it's a very tough call. Let's Get Small is the greatest comedy album of all time, and I'll put that up against any Richard Pryor album. But I could go Richard Pryor on this one because the influence is insane of what, and even growing up listening to Eddie Murphy, I was more of an Eddie Murphy generation, and to hear all the adults go, just ripping off Richard Pryor, and then later, I got obsessed and listened to all of Richard Pryor, and I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't realize that. Like, he launched 1,000 ships. So because of that, and as a kid, I love Richard Pryor's movies. Oh my God. What's the one where he's the bus driver? What is that called?
Oh yeah.
Anyway, that was on cable. That was on Bustin' Loose. That was on cable every week, and I literally watched that movie probably more than The Jerk. But anyway, so I'll go Richard Pryor because I mean, look at these two legends. My goodness.
You all right? Yep. Well, Adam,
Paul.
I was counting on sending it.
Paul. Sorry.
Yeah. Adam, I was hoping you'd say Martin so I could throw it back to you for the tiebreaker, and we can advance Steve because. I'm like you. I mean, my 1 and 2 all time is Carlin and Martin, but now I'm looking at Steve Martin getting the boot in round 1.
I mean, my heart's with Martin, but you look at the comic influence of a Richard Pryor, and Steve Martin literally influenced no other stand-up comedian because he was so unique.
Yeah, but he deconstructed all the comedians who came before him.
This is true.
Which is amazing.
Which is what
pull off.
Like that SNL era was deconstructing comedy, but Richard Pryor was deconstructing comedy too. He wasn't some old. BS.
Oh no, but I'm trying to. But as I watched clips of both these guys before because Pryor is certainly a legend, and I have Let's Get Small on album, but I'm trying to figure out which is tougher: getting up there and talking about your life. I know it takes some tugging, or getting up there and presenting a piece of prepared comedy that you just hope hits. There's no emotional heartstring to pull to maybe get the audience on your side. Steve Martin just came up and said, here it is. And I was always super impressed with that. He made absurdism. All right, so hang on. This is the last chance I'm going to get to talk about Steve. I thought I've had all these brackets to talk about Steve Martin. He sold out arenas. The Blues Brothers opened for him. Now, eventually, Pryor may have done the same. I'm not sure, but
but Pryor did concert films also. So you put that up again. I mean, that's we were saying that's no bullshit.
Steve did Steve Martin live, and then that was it.
Yeah.
No one could steal his jokes. Steve's. It's Steve does them, or nobody does them. In fact, if you do a Steve Martin joke, you have to do it like Steve. Oof means egg. Chapeau means hat.
It's like those people
have a different word for everything. And of course, nobody brought it and continues to bring it to late night shows like Steve Martin. Anyway.
Steve Martin's still performing today. He's
75
years old and he's still going out playing the banjo. He's going out with Martin Short, all that stuff. So
it's just so different.
Yeah,
a new show on Hulu in October.
Well, Jordan, I was smelling a tiebreaker there. I thought we were gonna have to go to it, but Pryor actually took it in the end 3-1. So
that's a very tough choice. That's a very tough choice.
It's an impossible choice.
Yeah, it's impossible. I mean, Steve Martin's still my favorite stand-up ever, but
Yep. But
that vote also kind of went to the day a friend of mine had the Richard Pryor box set in New York, and I went to New York for a wedding, and I just had a day to fart around New York, and I ripped all of the Richard Pryor albums, and I have this great memory of just walking around New York for an entire day listening to the entirety of Richard Pryor's stand-up.
Nice.
So, as much as I grew up listening to Steve Martin, that's a good memory too.
Yep, for sure. But So you got a little preview here. We got Dave Chappelle going up against Billy
Billy
Crystal.
Crystal.
Sorry, Billy.
Crystal.
Yeah.
All right, well, we start with our host today. This time.
Oh,
Yeah.
if I knew I was going to have to kill Crystal here, I could have went Martin in the last one, but yeah, for the old guys,
Yeah. So, I mean, I was making this list. Billy Crystal was the last minute add it. I was thinking, how do we leave Billy Crystal off the list? But I mean, it's just the luck of the randomizer. So I mean, he has to go up against a juggernaut like Dave Chappelle, who just still kills it every single time. And he gets like super political, and it's still funny. Just like, I mean, yeah, like, and like he gets across usually a pretty solid message every time in a stand-up show. So I really like that. And so yeah, I mean, it's just hard to go against Dave Chappelle. So I got to go Dave for me. Adam? I
mean, but let's not forget, I just heard there's a podcast called Good One. Do you guys know that one? Where they analyze a stand-up joke and bring the comedian on to talk about it. But they talked about Dave Chappelle's special. They have a thing on specials. And, it's actually kind of unfair to make Chappelle the leading voice of his generation, because he's also the weed joke guy, and he's also, he does a bunch of dumb jokes also, and it's unfortunate that, it's like, oh, what does Dave Chappelle think about recent political problem? It's like, I don't know. I just want Dave Chappelle to be as dumb as Steve Martin could be as well, So he's a silly guy as well. I grew up with the Billy Crystal Marvelous album. I mean, I'm a big fan of album comedy. And I've listened to far less Dave Chappelle albums. I think I've seen only specials. But man, Chappelle is such a powerhouse. And he really, and one thing I wanted to say about Richard Pryor earlier too, which I'll say about Dave Chappelle, is some people wield that microphone and the pacing of what they say like an absolute sword, that there's just a precision and timing to it. And Chappelle has just got that in such an admirable way, that even though I grew up with Billy Crystal's album and his stand-up and everything, it's like, oh my God, Chappelle is he's just like, he is stand-up, just such stand-up glory. When you love all the facets of stand-up and you watch Chappelle, and you're like, he's just killing it, So yeah, I mean, Dave Chappelle. Sorry, Billy. You should have put out more albums, Billy.
Right. Well, I think it comes so easily for him too. That's the other thing too. Like he just goes into like a natural. Like
doing it. 18 years old was exactly the same comedian he is now in terms of timing and just nailing it. Epic legend.
Howard Stern said that Chappelle's just extremely relaxed, and I wish I could arrive at that point at some point in any performance I do of anything.
Yeah.
But so this is kind of like Pryor and Martin, in that they're both legends. I can see their place in history. They're both phenomenal. Who do I like better? As much as you kind of mentioned this, Adam, as much as Chappelle has a lot to say about society, Crystal makes me laugh more. So, and I quote Marvelous all the time, from I like eggs to
I like eggs, Howard.
What was that? What the hell?
Over easy egg. That's a hard egg to order. Under easy, run down my face. That's why I order
a
omelet.
Spectacle to behold. I gotta go with Billy. So I'll go with Billy. I'll probably be the lone voice there, as I think I pushed the late add-on for him. Clearly, I like him and Gervais. I think they brought all their stand-up to the fantastic jobs they did, hosting the award shows. But I don't know if that counts. But you use that picture here, so let's not forget the bazillion ad-libs. When Hal Roach got up and thanked everybody, and he didn't have a mic on. Of course, Billy, it's so appropriate then that Hal Roach would be recognized for his silent films. Anyway, Billy.
And we have Peggy chiming in, so she says that she votes Dave. So
she's 25, right? So Chappelle.
Yep.
I mean, certainly there's a generational divide here.
Yeah.
Well, but that's why I like this panel, though. We got a little bit of a generational divide. That's okay.
Unlike Martin and Pryor, who are both from the 70s,
this one's a lot easier for me. I go Chappelle by a mile on this one. Crystal is he's a good performer, but some of his stuff recently has been pretty cringe to me. Actually, like it kind of just makes me cringe. Like, just how
he
kind
old.
of old-fashioned it is. But
Yeah.
the Killing
He's
Them
not doing
Softly
stand-up, is he?
special.
No,
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Killing
No,
Them
he's doing
Softly
long
special,
monologues about
you
going to
see?
baseball games with his dad.
Yeah.
Oh, the 700 Sundays.
Is that stand?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not
That was a
stand up,
great
but that's
show.
like
Yeah,
that.
I saw that. Alan Zweibel
Yeah.
co-wrote that. It was
Oh.
great. I saw that here
Yeah.
at the Saban.
Oh, nice.
I forgot about that. That's like a whole
Yeah.
90 minutes of stand-up.
Awesome.
I
You're
say
going-
in losing.
Yeah.
Not as hard a
You're-
choice as Martin and Pryor, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So you're going Chappelle, Austin?
Yeah, no, I'm going Chappelle pretty easily. I would even take a stand-up special of his alter ego Reggie Warrington from Nutty Professor. That shit makes me laugh too. So, yeah. But yeah. So with that 3-1, Chappelle
Right.
takes this one over Billy Crystal.
All right, so moving on down the line, we have Red Fox.
Red Fox
Going
versus
up against
Bernie
Kevin
Mac.
Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Oh, Kevin
Bernie
Hart.
Mac.
I'm sorry. He looks like
Hart.
Bernie Mac right there. He looks like Bernie right
Yeah.
there from 95. No, he does.
It kind of does, but yeah. So was it me first, or I forget what the
I believe it goes Adam first this time.
Adam.
You know, I've never been a huge fan of Red Fox's stand-up. I haven't listened to a ton of it. I listened to some today. I tried to brush up on some of these that I knew were on the list, and I was like, gosh, I haven't heard a lot of stuff. So I put on some Red Fox while I was in the shower, and it's so simple. It's pretty oldie-timey. I mean, please, I'm sure some comedy scholar would kick me in the teeth for that, because there are... like but he was like a dirty comedy album. You like put his album on at parties to like listen to him say dirty stuff. It was like clever dirty stuff, but still like, you know, there's just but the stuff that wasn't dirty was pretty simple. So I mean, I guess I just got to go again. Kevin Hart's got concert films. He did that Dane Cook but Sustained, which was come firing out of that cannon. Suddenly he's playing arenas. Whereas, you know, Red Fox, you know, played a lot of clubs. Again, he was before there was something called a stand-up. He was a club comedian, you know. That's a different era and an album comedian. But, yeah, I'll go Kevin Hart here because I like his comedy better. You know, Red Fox loved him on the show. I've never missed Sanford and Son, but
Yeah, right.
but I'll go
Yeah,
Kevin Hart. Yeah.
Yeah,
Paul?
Red Fox is recognized in the Blue Room, I believe, because he was filthy, and that
He
was
was
a
filthy,
big
yeah.
step. But yeah, the material wasn't as strong as Pryor or
No, it
anybody else in the
wasn't.
Blue Room.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
So go find the clip where Kevin Hart's mom lets him swear at school.
Yeah.
And if you aren't picked up off the floor after that, then he's dead inside. And you're right. The guy is a brand. He's unstoppable. He's almost aggressively nice.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah. Totally. Austin, what do you think?
Yeah, Red Fox has a really good bit. If you want to look at it, it's something about like hitting a girl in the head with a brick during sex or something like that. That's pretty damn funny. But Kevin Hart, yeah, oddly enough, Kevin Hart, I don't like his movies, but his stand-up is pretty damn solid. So I'll watch his stand-up. I won't watch his movies, but I'll vote Kevin Hart purely for stand-up on this one.
Yeah. Well, I just kind of did the same thing that Adam did. I brushed up on a little bit of Red Fox. I wasn't as familiar with him, and like he was all right. He's pretty funny, but nothing that really blew me away or anything. And Kevin Hart can be a little hit and miss for me too, but I do find him funnier than Red Fox, and just like the whole way that he became like an internet meme, like no, she wasn't ready, like all that stuff, you know. So like he's like kind of like part of pop culture for that. So I mean, and yeah, I got to go with Kevin Hart.
I mean, who's got a better voice between the two? Red Fox all day. But because I did love listening to his stand-up because I was like, that voice is so great.
Yeah.
But the jokes were pretty simple, I found.
Yeah.
Groundbreaker,
All right,
though.
Clean sweep for Hart. Clean sweep for Kev.
Yeah.
Clean sweep. All right. So
Yeah. Tough competition,
Did
Red.
Did Peggy chime in who is Red Fox? Or
no.
No.
She actually didn't.
All right.
But
The notorious CHO.
Yeah, we got
Margaret
Cho going against Billy Connolly.
Oh, well,
Billy
this is a good
Connolly.
matchup because I'm kind of
Okay.
lukewarm on both of these.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Start
we're
with
going to start
Paul.
with Paul on this one. Yeah.
Billy Connolly. He had a special when I was in college that we all quoted and talked about. I guess it was an HBO special that just brought the house down. And on this Ricky Gervais podcast where he has his British comedian friends on there, they just laud this guy till the ends of the earth. So for influence, for hilarity, for the description of a fart being when a pirate jumps up with a knife on a sail and rides it down to the bottom.
Yes. That was great. I love that.
And I've seen Margaret Cho live, and I was not impressed. So,
Okay.
Billy.
Well, Austin?
Yeah, I was actually just brushing up on a little bit of Billy Connolly before we went live. He was doing a religious bit of like, it's over, it's bloody over, and it was pretty damn funny. Margaret Cho had her time and her influence, but I think I'm kind of like Adam. I'm kind of lukewarm on both of them in general, but I'll give it slightly to Billy on this one.
Yeah, and Billy Connolly, like I just love him in Monty Python, the Holy Grail. I mean, I know that we're talking more of the stand-up, but like just with the whole like bunny rabbit, like the killer bunny. It's like, oh, did you listen to me? Oh no, you didn't. Oh, it's just a hobbit, little bunny, isn't it? So like I used to have that as a soundbite on my computer every time there was an error on my computer. That's what it would pop up for me. So yeah, so that was great. but yeah. So. But yeah.
Okay.
What?
That may
know
not
if
be.
he was in that. He
That may not
have
be
been in
him.
that film.
I don't think
Well,
that's him.
I
sure
think
you
that's
know?
John
So
Cleese
familiar.
doing a
Oh.
very good Billy Connolly impersonation.
Yeah.
I think that's John Cleese, right?
Looks
Yes.
just like him. Yeah, like the.
Just look at the blood. Is that what you're talking
Yeah,
about? That
right.
character? I think that's John
Yeah.
Cleese, isn't that?
Okay.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
in
Well,
that
look,
John
very-
Cleese
In a
is
Scottish
Monty
accent.
Python,
Yeah.
Yeah, you
and
did a
Billy
Yeah.
Connolly isn't. Yes.
Yeah.
Billy Connolly impression, so I'm gonna have John Cleese on it, right? No, but even so, like, I'm just not very impressed, kind of like Paul with Margaret Cho. Like I've heard some of her stand up, and I'm just kind of like, he's kind of
It's good, but it's
You know,
pretty utilitarian, you know. It's pretty,
yeah.
you know, it's pretty
But-
half-hour comedy hour, you know.
But for John Cleese as Billy Connolly, I'll vote for Billy
I'm
Connolly.
voting for John Cleese as Billy Connolly.
Yeah.
Billy Connolly fires the guns in the Boondock Saints. That's what he does.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's
That's okay. Well,
Yeah.
Anyway, Adam.
we rented a Whoopi Goldberg comedy special when I was a kid, and opening up for her was a guy I'd never heard of, and I'd heard of every comedian at that time, and was Billy Connolly opened for Whoopi Goldberg, and the guy, first of all, it's cheating because the Scottish accent is very funny, and on top of that, he's a great comedian. Yeah, I mean, Margaret Cho was great, but it's just more utilitarian, observational jokes, a little more kind of plain Jane type, very well done, but. Like Billy's just got this energy, and it's part of it's the Scottish accent and how he wields that like a sword as well. So yeah, Billy, you got to go Billy. Sorry, Margaret.
And I have to clarify, when I saw Margaret Cho, it wasn't even that her material was bad. It's just that she seemed uninterested in doing it. It was one of those type of performances. It was
She
just like,
has a droll delivery.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes has a droll delivery.
Yeah. Well, Billy Connolly is moving on, so there we go. So moving on to the next matchup, we have Joan Rivers
Oh wow.
going against Bill Hicks.
Oh.
Ooh.
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 These are two very different animals.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe Austin, right?
It goes
You're
to
up
me first. Yeah. This is. Yeah, you couldn't get more different than these two right here.
Right.
You know what? I like Bill Hicks, but I was never really huge on Bill Hicks. Like, he makes me laugh a little bit, but he was more onto just getting like his point across to me than trying to make me laugh. But Joan Rivers, when she gets on a roll, like really makes me laugh. I'll actually go Joan on this one.
Well, so going into this, I wasn't very familiar with Bill Hicks. I actually went and checked out a couple of his stand-up special, and like he's pretty funny. Like I actually laughed quite a bit. But I mean, we know Joan Rivers, that's for sure. Like Joan Rivers for me, as far as female comics, is just one of the best for me. So I mean, I just relate super well to all of the like stand up and the way that she critiques people. She's one of the best Oscar like red carpet hosts that I've ever seen. So yeah, I got to go with Joan Rivers. But Adam, what do you think?
I have a lot of experience with both of these comedians. I grew up watching Joan Rivers host the Tonight Show, and then her own show. I never missed her own show, the Joan Rivers Show, because she had all the great young comedians. First time I ever saw Chris Rock was on her show, and Joan is Second City as well, which Paul and I attended school there as well.
Okay.
And I went through a huge phase where I listened to borrowed from a student of mine at the Second City, also when I was teaching, borrowed all of Bill Hicks' CDs and listened to those for weeks on end. So this is a very tough choice. I got to say, the energy of Joan is so transcendent, and Bill is a niche in the 90s, or 80s rather, that is fantastic, but yeah, I don't know. You know what? Joan just is near and dear to my heart more than Bill. I was cynical and angry enough to love Bill Hicks at the time, but throughout the entirety of my life, as that's come and gone in me, like I would go back to Joan every time, you know? So yeah, Joan, man. Second City vet. Let's do it. Let's go, Joan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Paul?
I'm down with Joan as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam talked
she's
about
great.
Gary Shanley being so good. Johnny asked him over to the couch. I mean, Joan was so good. Johnny
Yeah.
asked her to host the show. So,
Yeah.
and the file
Right.
cabinet of jokes that's so legendary. You know, she
Oh,
just
the energy.
was all about it up until the very end.
Yeah.
Joan.
And her energy,
Yeah, for real.
just unprepared, could just rip him off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
good.
and a lot of roasting, which I enjoy. And if we're not going to have
Right.
Jeffrey Ross on this list to choose
True.
from, Joan Rivers.
Yep. Right. And,
No,
also we
and
have
Peggy makes a great point too, breaking the glass ceiling for female comedians. I mean,
Yeah.
if you think of what female comedians have to go through in 2021, think about what Joan Rivers had to go through in 1960.
Right.
You know, holy crap! Yeah, and
Well,
so
imagine.
you had to be able to backhand a whole bunch of male promoter jerks to get where she got to. So
Yeah.
yeah, go Joan
Well,
all day.
So
Well,
sweep for Joan. Yeah, sweep
Love
for
it.
Joan.
all right. Got a clean sweep. All right. Moves on. And then next up we got Ray Romano
Oh,
against
okay.
Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham. Okay.
Oh,
Alright.
fuck Jeff Dunham.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way, Adam. So
I mean, isn't that a parody of a comedian?
Yeah.
Isn't that the guy that you call not a comedian? Like, we
Yeah.
don't have any comedians here. We got a bunch of ventriloquists and blah, blah,
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
Jugglers and ventriloquists. I mean, isn't he patently sucks?
yeah. right.
Well,
Even if his show
Adam-
is great. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
patently, you suck.
Adam, we had to include him because he is literally the most successful ventriloquist ever, like in the history
you
of
go.
ever. So
There you-
I mean,
well, that is the tallest guy in a room full of dwarves, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Yep. Right. Yep. It is for sure.
So we go to Jordan first on this one. So Ray and
Sorry to
Jeff.
influence, Jordan.
Yeah.
No,
well, no, I'm right there. There with you, Adam. I never really found him very funny.
Oh, that's right. Also, he's not funny.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. He's not. So, I mean, for me, like when I went to his live show, I just saw everybody just like dying laughing. I'm just kind of looking around the room, going, I'm like, I don't really find this not funny, but all right. But and also, I gotta share a little tidbit. So one of my mom's best friends, her husband does all of the album cover work and all the promotional artwork.
Oh, really?
For Jeff Dunham, yeah. So
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Then, I understand. You got to say you like the guy.
yeah, but even despite that, he does it for a lot of big bands too. He does like Imagine Dragons and like Tom Petty, like a bunch of like crazy albums.
Phil Hartman did that. He did
Yeah.
album
Yeah.
covers. He was an artist.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's okay,
But-
Jordan. Adam will just burn all the bridges for you, so you don't have to do them.
Right.
Yeah.
But even
Yeah,
despite all
exactly.
that-
Blame it on me.
Yeah.
I gotta go with Ray Romano. Just the way that his voice is. Like when I love this TV show, like I just love like pretty much everything about him. So yeah, I gotta vote for Ray Romano. But But Adam, I think we know where your vote goes.
Well, you see, Ray Romano was a part of the 90s vanguard of stand-up comedians. Obviously, he got his show. And Jeff Dunham sucks. So I think I'm going to go Jerry Romano.
Yep. Sounds good, Paul. What do you
I was looking at Numb Comics, and you have Jeff Dunham, but you don't have Bo Burnham. So I have to say no Jeff Dunham.
Right.
We'll go with Ray Romano.
Numb Comics.
Yeah, again, it was. It seems like they were just handing out sitcoms back, after Seinfeld, and so Romano's stand-up was so good it led to him getting one. But it's clear, whose material was so good that they stayed. Right. So Ray was clearly close to a Seinfeld level in that. So yeah, Romano.
Yep. Well, Austin, what do you think?
Yeah, I went to a Dunham show at an arena. Give the guy props for selling out arenas. Give the guy props for selling out 10,000-seat arenas. I'll give the guy props for that. He's got something going. But the problem was it wasn't fun because he was just doing his material and the entire crowd was just saying the lines for him, which is not very fun. It means there's no connection.
That's why Steve Martin quit.
It's there's nothing there. You're not hearing the laughter, you're just hearing the lines. So it's just weird. But Romano, his specials were funny. I remember he did this bit about his toddler hanging off his arm, dragging their feet, something about their kung fu grip as they're dragging their feet or whatever. It was something like that. It was really, really funny. Romano stuff is good. I'll give it to Romano on this one. I'll give it the sweep.
Yeah. So.
Right.
Yeah, Jeff Dunham's funny too. I'm sure I know plenty of people that find Jeff Dunham funny. Everybody needs their own type of comedy, and Ray Romano is not for everybody. Yeah. But Jeff Dunham is literally not for me.
No, me neither. Absolutely not. But
it's good to include him, though. That's a good variety,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But
he's one end of the spectrum.
Versus Waylon Flowers and Madam. Oh.
Does anyone get that joke?
No, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That was a TV show, Paul. Wasn't that funny? Madam was a TV show.
I have to go away for 2 seconds. It literally will be just that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. I think we know how this one's going to go.
Yeah.
The most famous comedian, one of the top 5 most famous comedians of all time. Versus Ron White.
I don't think we actually said it. It's Ron White versus Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, his head's cut off there, but it's
So just for anybody just listening, like Peggy, so Ron White versus Jerry Seinfeld.
Right.
Adam gets the first vote.
Hey, I saw Ron White's stand-up special recently, and the guy is very funny. He's got his own thing going on, but Jerry Seinfeld is a Babe Ruth of comedy. Maybe not the Babe Ruth, but a Babe Ruth of comedy. Jerry Seinfeld is going to be the man to beat in this, and in the man to beat, Jerry Seinfeld is not Ron White.
No, it's not.
Put Ron White up against a few other people in here, and we'll have an interesting discussion. But this discussion is not going to be very interesting. It's Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Even without his 2 shows, it's Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the biggest and most successful and highest earning comic in my lifetime, who's still doing it with a crazy long shelf life, Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, and he's just great too.
Yeah. Austin?
Yeah, even without the fact that Jordan and I do a Seinfeld show on this network because we're giant Seinfeld fans. But even without that,
come on,
Seinfeld's
Ron White.
been doing this shit
Ron.
for 40 years, 45 years, and he's still at the top. I love Ron White. I hate to knock him out because I genuinely think Ron White is damn funny. This
he just got a crap matchup on the board here.
If he was up against Martin or somebody else or whoever, I'd probably put him through. Yeah.
And the other thing is Jerry keeps turning in epic work. Jerry before Seinfeld is really great, and that's recent, and it's just
23 Hours to Kill, his latest Netflix special is really, really good. Just
amazing.
Right.
It's hard to believe that he's the age he is and with the years behind him and not missing a step,
And in all his years, he never put out an album until I'm telling you for the last time. And then that is one of the great stand-up albums. Finally, after 25 years or 30 years of doing stand-up, he put out one of the best stand-up albums of all time. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Ron White, they call him Tater Salad, but I mean for Jerry Seinfeld, they call him Jerry Seinfeld because he is like Jerry Seinfeld, and that name, like you could say that name anywhere in the world, and I think people would know who he is. But Ron White, I don't think you could really say the same. So and also too, like I will say that I didn't find that Jerry Seinfeld's most recent stand-up special as funny as original, but it's still great. So it's like saying like how good his original stuff actually was compared to what he's doing now. It's still great, but just like not. Well, it doesn't hit quite as hard for me, but it's still great. So I'd put it up against a lot of comedians.
Even if you're not going, stand-up special or stand-up special, just the basic delivery between those two comedians, like Seinfeld wields his voice like a sword to a greater degree than Ron White, who's got great control of his voice. Obviously, he's made a great style of his own, but he's just not going to beat Jerry. I'll be curious who's going to beat Jerry. Somebody's might, but.
Yeah,
well, if we had seeds, Adam, I mean, Jerry would easily be top 3 seeds, like pretty easily. And unfortunately,
that's a good thing. The randomizer, I mean, he could have taken anybody out.
Randomizer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, Jordan. What's next?
And also, I've seen Jerry Seinfeld live 3 times too, so that's another.
You have? I've never seen him live. That's amazing.
I've seen him twice.
I have to tell you my Jerry Seinfeld story. It'll take 2 seconds. Because he was signing autographs after a show when I saw him many, many years ago. And I wanted to have something to say to Jerry because I heard he was going to be signing autographs. And so I found out that he went to the same college as my acting professor. And so, that was Oswego. Okay, my uncle teaches at Oswego. Perfect, I can bring that up.
Right.
And
got to have an in.
My uncle and my acting professor's roommate was one of Jerry's good friends, Gary Carbone. I said, Gary Carbone, great, I got all this stuff ready to go. So I go up and they hand him my thing. He starts signing it, and they go, "Hey, Jerry, my uncle teaches at Oswego where he went to college." He goes, "No kidding. What's he teach?" "I don't know." And so then I said, and Gary Carbone says hi. "Oh, Gary Carbone, that's great. What's he doing?" I don't know. I took the signature and got the hell out of there. So still got the autograph, but
that's funny.
Not the greatest conversation.
You might have should just tried the old big fan, Jerry. Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah. But Jerry Seinfeld, even being like such a huge comedian, like he even performed in some of the smaller cities because I saw him 3 times in Boise, Idaho when I used to live there. So I mean, he goes everywhere. So which is pretty cool. Yeah. So, but moving on up, we have Gabriel Iglesias going against Dave Attell.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Bit of a coin flip
All
here.
Right.
Yeah,
and we go to Paul Preston for this one.
Oh, it's Dave Attell. Absolutely Dave Attell.
Yeah.
For this joke alone, I went to a 99-cent, or I went to a store and I saw on the shelf John Denver tape, and it was $1. $1. You can get yourself a John Denver tape full of his music. And then next to it was a blank tape. That was $2. And I thought to myself, wow, John Denver could double his money if he would just shut the fuck up. Dave Attell.
That's awesome. Yeah. Austin, what do you think?
you ever drinking blackout, or as I like to call it, time travel? This one's pretty easy for me. Gabriel's okay. I think he's been a little oversaturated the last couple of years. But Dave Attell, as far as like pure raw making me laugh, that Skanks for the Memory album I've listened to. I can't tell you how many times, probably like 30 times, and it makes me laugh every single time. Dave Attell, his delivery is bar none. This one goes to Attell. I think he might be one of the dark horses in this one. When it all says
for sure.
It'd be interesting to see who he goes against.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Peggy, she's all for Dave Attell.
Attell all day.
Yeah.
He's great. Jordan?
But yeah, for me, so like I grew up watching Insomniac on Comedy Central with
right, great one.
With Dave Attell. So like that's where I was first introduced to him, and like ever since then, like I just followed his career. I listened to all of his stand-up specials, and also too. So me and my family, we have a habit where we get together. We sometimes like to pick one of our favorite stand-up comedians to just watch a special together, like as an entire family. And I remember one time we tried putting on a Gabriel Iglesias stand-up special, and like I remember like just being kind of awkward. We weren't really laughing that much. Like like we're just kind of looking at each other like he does some like funny voices and stuff, but like what else does he really do? We're not really laughing, so it's a little awkward. So yeah, for that reason also, but just because I'm a huge Dave Attell fan, I got to go with Dave Attell. So
yeah, I mean Gabriel Iglesias, I've seen 100 times more Dave Attell than I have Gabriel Iglesias, so it's a little unfair. However, like a month ago on Pluto TV, there's a stand-up comedy channel, and Gabriel Iglesias was on it, and I was just going to bed, so I'm going to leave on whatever they're playing. And I watched him for about 10 minutes. Now, granted, I'm taking 10 minutes of Gabriel Iglesias, comparing it to many years of watching Dave Attell, but it's a type of comedy I call plain ass. He does plain ass comedy. It's like it's good. It's good observations, I guess, but it's plain ass. It doesn't have anything. Attell, man, have you guys seen Bumpin' Mics on Netflix?
That is so
Oh
funny.
God, yeah, that was the best.
Amazing. And that's on top of his regular stand-up, on top of Insomnia, on top of, it's Dave Attell all day.
On top of
It's
Dave's
like,
porn collection or whatever that
yeah,
was.
yeah, he's anything but plain ass, which I think Gabrielle is a little more plain ass comedy. Which is great. It'll give you a whole career. It'd been, he still has to work on it every day. Gabrielle has to wake up and write, but it's still plain ass comedy compared to Dave Attell,
Yeah, and Dave Attell, I think, is one of the best roasters too. Like I wish he would do more.
Oh, there's
more, like,
that
roasted
too. Yeah,
because he's great at that. So yeah. But moving on, so that'll be the end of that side.
Ooh.
You got
All right, one round
That's
down.
the end of that
There we go.
We're
side.
an hour. I told you, guys, we're an hour and 15 minutes in, and we still got a first round. We're not even getting the first round.
Right.
So, no, don't get me wrong. We're getting all
So
the
no more chit
pleasantries-
chat.
Well, we're getting no. It's okay. We're getting all the pleasantries of all the comedians out of the way, and then
That's true. We'll have less of the shit to say as we go on.
Less of the shit to say. We can just get right to the voting later.
Right,
So it's
okay.
okay. Get what you got to say out of, and then we'll speed it up in the other rounds.
I see Leonard Bruce.
Yep.
I see Lenny Bruce. Yeah, Lenny Bruce.
Lenny Bruce going up
Versus
against
Patrice
Patrice
O'Neil.
O'Neil.
Patrice. I got to
Yeah.
meet and hang out with him in Scotland once. That was what a
Okay.
great
nice.
guy.
Oh, that's
That
cool.
is awesome.
Yeah, he's a great
So,
guy.
yeah.
Oh, poor
We start
guy.
with you.
Yeah, me.
From
Yeah,
Austin?
me.
Yeah.
I can recognize the influence of Lenny, but I got to be honest. Patrice O'Neill is like top 5 for me. Like personally, he's everything he says. His delivery is just damn funny, and the fact that he doesn't care if he bombs, he doesn't care if the crowd hates him, he does not give a shit. I'm a big Opie and Anthony. I'm a big Opie and Anthony fan too, and he used to go on there all the time and just dish out like the funniest shit. This is Patrice for me, and this is Patrice is the man. He's my man here, so I'm going with Patrice.
Yeah. Well, for me, I can recognize the influence of Lenny Bruce also, and like how he was just like super edgy for his time, just like he really pushed the boundaries. So I really like that, and I really appreciate that. But Patrice O'Neill has me rolling on the floor laughing every time that I listen to him.
Right.
Like his delivery is just spot on. It's just so good. I actually listened to some clips of him about an hour before we went live on the show. So yeah, I got to go with Patrice all day. So Adam,
As a comedy scholar, I had to learn how to like Lenny Bruce, because as I heard it, I was like, I don't get this at all, and it's actually work to figure out why Lenny Bruce is funny. And it's rewarding. Once you get into it, I read his biography, and I finally figured out one day, right around the time they released this box set of Lenny Bruce material, why Lenny Bruce is funny. And I listened to it, and it's hilarious, but it's just inaccessible unless you do all that work. Patrice O'Neill is immediately hilarious. And hung out with him in Scotland, and he's a great guy, and near and dear to my heart, and gone too soon. So yeah, Patrice O'Neill.
yeah.
I would love to hear Patrice O'Neill material today. Like I would kill for today Patrice O'Neill talking about everything going on. So
Yeah.
that's unfortunate.
If you guys don't, you should listen to Comedy Gold Mines on Comedy Gold Minds on Sirius Radio. Kevin Hart, 1 hour show every week, and he talks to a comedian. Just he and a comedian. Seinfeld, been through Sebastian, Monique, and right on down the line. It's great. It's what's kind of replaced the Ricky Gervais show. It's not quite as good. The Ricky show is next level, but it's great. Comics talking about and everybody who comes in the show has something nice to say. about working with Patrice O'Neill and how funny he was. I'm a little underversed on him, so I have that to look forward to in my life, which is good. But so for that, I'm going to go Lenny Bruce just because I know a bit more about it.
Yeah.
All right. So some love for Lenny Bruce, but 3-1. Patrice is gonna.
Yeah, Lenny's just too inaccessible now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like so literally of his time, like 1959 jokes. When you listen to it, it's like they're like, for people at the time, you're like, oh my god, I've never heard anybody make fun of a thing that happened 2 months ago, you know. But now you listen to it, and you're like, oh, what is he doing? Although the funniest Lenny Bruce joke of all time is the night that John Kennedy died. I'll share this just because Lenny's about to go away here. Is that there was a famous guy who imitated John F. Kennedy called Vaughn Meader, and he released all these albums doing impersonations of John F. Kennedy, and then John F. Kennedy gets killed, and Lenny Bruce is booked that night and has to talk to an audience that night after John F. Kennedy dies, and his very first line is, "Well, I guess Vaughn Meader's fucked," which is a really funny joke.
Wow.
But with that, goodbye, Lenny.
Yeah. Well, Peggy, do you want to chime in on this matchup real quick?
It's kind of overwhelming on this one, but feel free to chime in, please.
I agree. Patrice was gone too soon. I love that Bill Burr does a fundraiser show for his family every year.
Oh yeah.
But my vote would have been for Lenny. Lenny's a legend. I love the fact that they made him sexy on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
That's true, yeah. But he's hard to laugh at. He's hard. It's a tough comedy nowadays.
Yeah,
that's true. But no, I'm not upset with Patrice.
We have Patrice. Yeah.
Ladies, why can't I harass you?
Yeah,
like not like harass you, but like, you know, just like your titty meat's looking really good today, you know, like shit like that. Like Patrice is just Patrice is just a legend, dude.
I'm gonna have to listen to a bunch of these we've been talking about after this because
he's damn good.
Yeah. I haven't heard Patrice in a long time.
He's so good. He's so good.
So moving right,
who's next? Doug Stanhope, Peggy's guy versus Tig Notaro.
Oh,
okay.
So,
all right, and Jordan's up first on this one. Yeah, Jordan. Mm-hmm.
So I just want to say that I'm a massive Tig Notaro fan. Like just the like dry sense of humor that she has is just so good. But the first time that I really ever saw her, she was on the Conan O'Brien show, and her whole entire bit was just pushing this chair like across the stage, and making like an awful squeaky sound. She just did that for like 5 minutes, and like the crowd was just dying, like they were eating it up. And so, and we got to be honest, I'm actually not that familiar with Doug Stanhope, and I need to watch more of Doug Stanhope because I just am not that familiar. So my vote has to go with Tig. So. That'd be me, but Adam.
Well, Doug Stanhope stole a bunch of props from my sketch comedy troupe one night when we opened for him. He wore one of our props out on stage and made fun of it, and we're all like, "Come on, don't you have any of your own bits?" No, I mean that I don't really hold that against Doug. That was one of my few brushes with Doug. Actually, that was a stand-up festival where Patrice is playing too. But I don't find Doug that funny. Frankly, I mean, it's kind of a particular angry, abrasive humor. And again, I'm sure I haven't heard all of it or whatever. But yeah, I just like Tig's style, and I just want to engage with Tig and her type of humor. And she does have so likable and a much more a humor that requires much more patience. Obviously, there's a little more frat boy throw a beer against the wall for Doug Stanhope than Tig, which requires a lot more patience. But that type of engagement that allows that to work is what I see in Tig all the time. So I'll go with Tig on this one for sure. Mm-hmm. Doug is fine.
I think I know what Peggy's going with on this one.
Right.
Well, as my name, my label down.
Yeah.
Well, I dig Stanhope a lot. I am going to see him in September for the first time, if that actually happens. I hope it happens. Because I've had these tickets for like a year and a half now. But I'll do respect to Tig. I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I think that Stanhope's more of like a comedian's comedian. Like,
that's true.
You have to get like, I don't know, but his bit on nationalism, which was inspired by another comedian I love, Chris Porter. That's a great bit. Just look up Doug Stanhope, and I guarantee you the next word that you look up on YouTube is nationalism. That's like one of his biggest bits. But one of my favorite is the story about how his mother died. If you've ever heard that bit, that one's great. So yeah. My vote is Stanhope, 100%.
Oh, Paul, what do you think?
I got to go Tig Notaro. Just she has more exposure to me than Stanhope's jokes. Plus, I've heard Stanhope on the Howard Stern show. He's just a filthy guy. Not like his language, but just he's got this like trashy girlfriend. It kind of tainted my whole perception of the guy. It's unfair, of course. I should judge him on the material alone. But even if I'm going to take personal lives into account, taking Tig Notaro's pain and making it art was pretty damn impressive.
That's pretty huge.
For that, Tig.
Fair.
Yeah.
Austin? Well, Peggy, I would have backed you up on Stanhope because I'm a damn big Stanhope fan. I've seen him twice live. I've had the privilege of it. It's awesome. I like angry, abrasive humor, and he just hits the right notes for me. He's awesome. So yeah, I vote for Doug. Unfortunately, he's not going to win this one. He's going to get.
That's all right. That's all right.
Bump from Tig. All right.
I still got 1 point alive. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see Tig Notaro in the new Zack Snyder movie. She's like playing like an action hero, which is like really off the beaten path for her. So she's gonna be like a cigar like smoking action hero with a big gun, which is gonna be freaking awesome.
Well, she replaced Chris D'Elia in green screen shot scenes. In post. She was replaced from Chris D'Elia in post.
Because he got Me Too'd, right? Is that why he got taken out
basically.
Of
that? He was texting underage ladies, and they took him out of the movie and put Tig in there. So yes.
Well,
all right.
With that,
Tig goes through.
Advances.
Right.
And yet I still see him on stuff. Did that not stick with Chris D'Elia? Is that just like a 2-week punishment and he's back doing stand-up?
You might just be seeing him in like YouTube clips. I don't think he's doing anything mainstream right now. Yeah, he's trying to come back, but we'll see.
He has a podcast that he's trying to do, so we'll see. But
also, Tig is just way cuter than Doug Stanhope. I just I find her adorable.
And she's a huge advocate for the LGBT community. I'll say that too. So,
yeah. All right, we got Bob Saget.
Bob Saget going up against Brian Regan.
This is Brian Regan. Ooh. All right. So, and we're gonna start with Adam down here on this one.
Brian Regan. I don't think Bob Saget's stand-up. It was made a bigger deal of because he was so not a dirty guy on TV, and yet his stand-up is okay. It's like it's shocking because he was on Full House that it's dirty, but it's also okay, Whereas Brian Regan's like, I mean, he's a Seinfeld without as much output. Really, it's like his style is like huge and it's like he does kind of epic comedy bits, whereas whatever. Bob Saget's fine,
And Jerry Seinfeld promotes him all the time too. Like he's kind of partnered on a couple Netflix things with Jerry Seinfeld. But Peggy, what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Adam here. I think it's Saget's more shock value just because everyone knows him as Danny Tanner from Full House and everything, and then all of a sudden he's being just belligerent on stage, and it kind of takes you aback, and maybe it makes it a little bit funnier. I don't know, but Brian Regan needs to be a little bit more of a household name than he is already. So Brian.
Yeah, Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, Adam said he's like the Seinfeld without as much content. I don't think that's true. He's just simply Seinfeld without a show, because the content. This guy's a workhorse. Yeah. Regan's been doing it forever. Saget can make me fall down with the delivery of his material. The material's good, like Adam said, but the delivery I think is his top notch. But for just busting it out, and I've met Brian Regan. He's really nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I met him in Vegas once. And he's awesome. So I go with him.
Austin?
I have an amazing memory of me and two of my friends when we were about 13 years old, sitting in a kitchen with a CD player, listening to the Brian Regan live album from 1997, and falling over and laughing ourselves stupid like that for an hour and a half. And it's one of the greatest memories I ever have. And I've been a Brian Regan fan ever since. I will fight hard for Brian Regan. Absolutely, I love him.
Yeah, same here. Like I kind of have a similar memory of Austin for Brian Regan, just because like how I said, like my family would sometimes sit down and watch stand-up comedy together, and Brian Regan's definitely one of our go-tos because he's also kind of family friendly in a lot of ways, but he's still absolutely hilarious. Like probably I have like his first 3 albums pretty much memorized. I could like say him word for word. I've heard him so many times, and like just the delivery and he's a very physical comedian too. Like he's just all over the stage doing all kinds of crazy things and stuff. So there's definitely one that you want to see as well as listen to. But Bob Saget, it's funny. Like I grew up watching America's Funniest Home Videos, but I mean, like,
Forgot about that.
But even still, though, that's just more of a nostalgia thing. When I look back, like I just remember the theme song. Like I can have the theme song memorized.
America,
This is you.
But
Before YouTube, there was America's Funniest Home Videos.
right? But like, it really wasn't that funny though. Like if I think back, he just did silly voices and kind of just some kind of cheesy, quirky little things. But like in his stand-up, like he was so shockingly opposite. But even so, I got to give it to Brian Regan. So that's my vote.
The most enjoyment I think he can get out of Saget on America's Funniest Home Videos was watching him know his material that he was given was shit.
Right.
Like, that's the best part.
Yep. Brian Regan advances. So next up, we have Dana Carvey going up against Gallagher.
Where's Adam? Adam disappeared.
Where's Adam? Yeah,
I know.
We need his input.
Well, it's okay because he's gonna be the last vote because we actually, ironically enough, start with Peggy on this one, so we'll get to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, this one's a
Now,
tough one for me.
having spent a year or 2 living in Aurora, Illinois, you would think I would vote Dana Carvey. But you say the word sledge-o-matic, everyone knows it's Gallagher. So yeah, I think I stole that from Adam. I think he actually said that in our group chat before when we were discussing the list. So sorry to steal your material there, Adam, but yeah, I'm gonna go Gallagher.
Yeah, Paul, what do you think of these two?
I'm going to go against my buddy Adam, but vote for Dana Carvey. Gallagher is fantastic. Gallagher has a ton of material. He's been doing it forever. Same with Carvey. He obviously took a break to do SNL for a long time and crank out a ton of great characters. But his stand-up is unique because it's a lot of characters like that. It's I saw him very recently over at Flappers of all places in Burbank, and he's still got it. So
nice.
I go Carvey's generational for me. Carvey.
Yeah, Austin. What do you think?
Yeah, this one's similar to Regan actually, in that I have very fond memories as a kid of watching the reruns of Gallagher's specials on Comedy Central like all the time and just loving every second of it. Even despite the sledge-o-matic being at the end, like just the whole specials, like he was great. I've seen him 4 times live. Like I think he's super, super underrated for like what he did for comedy. Like he's a workhorse, man. Like especially in the 80s, dude, cranking out like a special every year almost on like Showtime and shit. Like he was the man. So yeah, I'll go with Gallagher.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, like the only thing that I really remember about Gallagher is him doing the sledge-o-matic stuff. Like I never really watched very much else from him, and I really regret that because like even Adam put in a little clip in our group chat, and I was just like, this is like fall down funny awesome stuff. Makes me want to go back and see a lot more of him. But this one's tough because Dana Carvey is my favorite Saturday Night Live cast member of all time. Actually, I take it back. He's my number 2 besides Chris Farley. But yeah, he's up there though. So yeah,
that's a bracket to do one day.
Yeah, right. We actually are kind of planning something kind of in that vein, but
nice
coming up soon. But I mean, just for the influence on stand-up comedy, I still got to give it to Gallagher. I feel like he just had a little more influence. He's been kind of working at it a little longer. I feel like kind of just putting in a little more work, but like Dana Carvey like does a lot too. So this one's tough, but I think just by a slight edge, I'll give it to Gallagher. But Adam, you're back just in time.
Just in time. Okay, cool. I assumed as soon as I walked away, I had to go take a pee. But I assumed Gallagher would come up immediately. But I thought I had
Yep. Right.
Pace the rounds enough that I would be back in time for the next one. And I knew it would be Gallagher. I'm a gigantic Gallagher fan. Gallagher's been playing in the background the entire time. I grew up with Gallagher. There is no comedian, or very few comedians, with a piece of comedy that you can say the name of and that people go, oh, I know who did that. And if you say the guy that smashes watermelons, 100 out of 100 people in America will go, oh, Gallagher. But if you say, I don't know, what you would say for Dana Carvey or many of these other comedians as their most famous piece, nothing is as famous as the Sledge-O-Matic sketch, which is actually a sketch. He does an advertisement for the product, and that is how he ends every show. We give Louie C.K. a lot of credit for being the guy who would do a comedy special and then toss all his comedy and did a brand new hour every year. But Gallagher had been doing that since the 80s. He doesn't do it now, but he did a brand new special every year, and everyone's like, oh, it's the Watermelon Guy. But he did an hour of stand-up before he did that once a year. Gallagher is the king. There's no way that Dana Carvey can hold a candle to the influence and the breadth of how much comedy Gallagher did, and one of the most famous sketches of all time, Sledge-O-Matic.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I told you I kind of stole what I said from Adam earlier, and then did you have that playing in the background behind you the entire time?
Yeah.
I just now you said that I just now noticed it.
And I just need to verify something with Jordan. This is a vote between Dana Carvey and Gallagher, not Dana Carvey and Gallagher 2, correct?
Gallagher 2.
Yeah.
Is that true? That he had like a brother who looked like him, and he toured too?
It's very true.
No,
that is true. Yeah.
Hey, don't knock the hustle.
But you'll be happy to know that, Adam, that this one, the votes support Gallagher going through to the next round. So
good. Was it all across the board?
Did make it. No, except for Paul.
Unanimous.
Paul was the lone.
And he's hiding now. Love it.
Of course, and he's hiding.
Yeah. What?
Why do they call them buildings? They're already done building them. They ought to call them builds.
Right.
Hannibal versus who? Hannibal versus who?
If progress means to move forward,
versus Sarah
Silverman. All right.
Oh, it's a good matchup here, actually.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
This one goes to Paul.
Damn, they're both funny.
Oh, I have to be the tiebreaker if that comes down. Oh, okay.
If it happens, we'll see if it happens.
These two are funny.
Stand-up is one thing, but I have to tell you, I'm a latecomer, like 6 years late to the Eric Andre show. I just found it on Hulu, and I burned through like 9 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
The show is
Amazing.
insane. So good.
Amazing.
So Hannibal's fun on that.
Points every time. Yep.
Points for outing Cosby. But so these two are both great, but I think just
Giants.
Sarah makes me laugh more. So that's it. I mean, I can't even go deeper than that. She makes me laugh more, and Sarah.
All right. Well,
I'll keep it short. Just I'm not over the moon about either one of them. This is another one, but Hannibal makes me laugh a little bit more on this one, so I'll give it to Hannibal.
I'll keep it short too. I'll just vote for Hannibal because he's the one that outed Bill Cosby. So for that, I'm going to vote for him. Just on that alone. So
one of these two was a cast. One of these two was a cast member on Mr. Show, and one of them wasn't. So I'm going to go Sarah Silverman.
All right.
Talk about influence.
Oh God.
Well, it does come down to a tie for Peggy.
You do have the tiebreaker.
I feel like I'm betraying my city because Hannibal is from Chicago. But
Better betray your gender. Make the call.
Great call, Paul. Great call.
Go on.
Okay, I gotta go, Sarah. And I mean, I've seen more of her comedy specials than I have of Hannibal's, and Hannibal has a little bit of a more monotone delivery, whereas Sarah's more animated. So I more lean towards Sarah's brand of comedy, even though she does deadpan a lot. But just I would say, like, when Matt Damon comes up, most people go to Team America World Police and they go Matt Damon. My mind normally goes to the I'm fucking Matt Damon from when she's
fucking Matt Damon.
Oh, that's epic. Epic.
So for that alone, even though that's not stand up, Sarah advances.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, 3-2 is close one, but yeah, Sarah moves on.
All right. Well, next up we have Jay Leno up against Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Oh.
That's kind of interesting.
All right.
So we start with
this one goes to me first. Yeah. Man, this is a tough one. I know Jay's been doing it forever, like forever. But the problem is, I don't get to see any of his material because he doesn't put anything out there. So like, I don't know if it's funny or not. Like, I literally, it's hard to say because people only know him from the Tonight Show. He does stand up all the time, but there's nothing out there to watch or listen to. So because Eddie had 2 films that were amazing, and I wish he would come back, I'll go Eddie on this one, just simply for that. He's accessible.
Yeah, I feel like Jay Leno has a heavy influence from people like Rodney Dangerfield, people like that were just like, ooh, the little neck, like all of that, and like I was never a huge fan of him hosting the Tonight Show. Like, I'll be honest, like I just thought he was kind of middle of the road when it came to that. But like, nobody can beat Johnny Carson in my mind. I think he's the legend. But I mean, Eddie Murphy's Eddie Murphy, and like he pretty much saved Saturday Night Live in the 80s. Like, actually, I just watched both of his stand-up specials for the first time this week to prepare for this episode.
And?
Watched Delirious and Raw, and they were both amazing. But I feel like, though, like we kind of relied a little too much on like raunchy humor the whole entire time. And I don't really like comedians that they just rely solely on that. And I kind of felt like he almost did like solely, especially for Delirious, like that one especially. But still, like I think Eddie Murphy is a comedy legend, so I got to go Eddie. Adam?
Yeah, man. Eddie Murphy was the comedy album you had to listen real low so your parents would know you were listening to Eddie Murphy in your room when I was a kid. But yeah, I mean, epic comedy albums, comedy concert film, obviously his film career. Eddie Murphy just broke through in such a big, bad way and just changed so much stuff, man. Eddie Murphy is just epic. Leno, I love that whole 80s, when all these comedians started coming about, or late 70s for him. Came up with Letterman and some of those guys. Yeah, I don't know, man. Eddie Murphy is just epic stand-up comedy gold, man. He's just a king. I mean, he's huge. Jay Leno is huge, but Eddie Murphy's huger.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, come on, Eddie Murphy, man, what a legend. Yeah, carved out of comedy gold, that guy right there.
Yep. Peggy, what do you think?
I don't think people who didn't grow up in the 80s have an idea of just how huge Eddie Murphy was back then. And yes,
True.
Paul, I was alive in the 80s, and for almost the entirety of the 80s. I'm not 25. But Raw and Delirious were on repeat in my house. I can probably sit there and lip sync both specials from front to back.
Ice cream!
Yep. I got some ice cream.
You can't afford it. You can't
His
afford
father
it.
is alcoholic.
But yeah, I mean, some of his material has not aged well. There's a bit in there that is very homophobic. There's a bit in there that just didn't know what AIDS was at the time. But I mean, it's just Eddie was like the biggest thing, like in entertainment for the longest time in the 80s. And I think the HBO show The Newsroom put it best about Jay Leno. Like, he was popular because he didn't bother anybody. Like, he was just middle of the road. Yeah, so hands down Eddie. I went long-winded, but Eddie, hands down.
Yeah. Paul?
It's a shame that the Tonight Show monologues watered down the image of what Jay Leno could be, and probably what he was doing on the road that got him the job. That band playing the stinger so everyone would laugh. It was kind of that kind of stinger. You're encouraging everyone to like slowly start applauding at the end of the joke. I just never thought that did Jay any favors. No. And so when he played, like I told you, I saw him open for Jim Jeffries, and he did a set, and he's apparently been at Flappers here in Burbank because the Comedy and Magic Club is still closed during the pandemic, where he performed every week forever because they gave him his start. Even during the Tonight Show, he'd go back there every Sunday night. But he's been over, and he got up there and he killed it. I mean, he had energy, and the jokes had punchlines, and they landed. So it was always depressing to think back on those monologues just being so kind of weak compared to what I think he was always capable of. And now he's 71. He really doesn't give a shit anymore. That sits very well on him. Watch what he's doing now. I know it's not out there, like you said, but if you get the chance to see it, It's fun.
Mhm.
But that being said, yeah, I don't know, Austin, which movie did you say you worked when you were in the theater and there was a concert film playing all the time? Was
Oh,
it
Martin Lawrence.
Yeah.
Martin Lawrence. I worked at the theater when that came out. Yeah.
I worked when Eddie Murphy Raw was in theaters, watched it
Mm.
constantly. Just I knew when the funny parts were coming, I wanted to go in and hear the audience laugh because Eddie was just bringing the house down. That was great. And man, it's just shit. The worst thing COVID might. Well, okay, listen, I know what the worst thing
Yeah.
COVID did.
Yeah.
But it's
One
not
of the
funny,
things
so
it
go
did
with the funny one.
Was stall this Eddie Murphy comeback that he's been talking about doing
Mhm.
stand up again. You know, and
Yeah.
it's been on hold for a year now. I would love to see
Waiting
that
for
again. I think people want it again. I don't know if he still has the same swagger, but I'd be curious to see whatever he brings because the
it's so-
swagger was something else.
But it would be so hard. How do you test out material without that shit getting leaked on YouTube
How do you do it?
before it's ready?
It's impossible.
Someone's going to be an asshole.
Yeah, there'll be phones and
Yeah.
there'll be all this other shit.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
Can't
actually,
Yeah.
there's a lot of comedy clubs that are doing this thing where you
bag
check
thing?
in your phone.
Yeah.
You check in
Yeah.
your phone now to prevent
Smart.
material from getting out, and most of
Yeah, I
it
think
works for the
Chappelle
most part.
started that, I think.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
So
You tell
never know.
Bill to suck. I said to suck
Well,
my dick.
I said a coke and a
Eddie Murphy
smile.
moves on, though.
Do the people laugh when you say what you say?
And that's the thing too. Eddie
You
Murphy
get
stopped.
paid?
Eddie Murphy stopped doing stand up. Jay Leno kept doing it, and yet still the impact of Eddie Murphy's stand up it still supersedes someone who's still working
Yeah.
today.
But
And on the Kevin Hart Comedy Goldmine show, I mean, if, like I said, everyone had something nice to say about Patrice O'Neill. Everybody says Eddie's their
Yeah.
role model, their
Right.
influence.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, there's no Eddie
Goony
without
Goo.
Pryor, but still.
Right. No, there's no Martin Lawrence
What the
without Eddie.
fuck
There's
does
no.
Goony
You know.
Goo mean?
yeah, right, yeah.
Why don't you hop in your little IRAX E28 and take your ass home?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well,
This shit has been in den for 6 months, Eddie.
but moving on, we have Roseanne Barr going up against Jeff Foxworthy.
Jeff
Oh,
Foxworthy.
okay. This is an
Yeah.
interesting matchup.
Yeah, it is.
Very interesting. They're both kind of like countrified people.
Okay, so you guys got everybody in. I see.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody. We left no stone
You
unturned.
didn't get
Yeah.
Lisa Lampanelli, but that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so am I up first on this one?
Yeah, Jordan, you're up first.
Yeah.
So, look, I'm not very big on either one of these comedians, but like I'm definitely not very big on Roseanne. Like I just don't really find her funny at all. Like I never really found her show funny. One of my best friends who passed away, my friend Doug, he was a massive Roseanne fan. He would watch that show all the time, and I never really got why he was like rolling on the ground laughing. I was just kind of like, okay, like I guess I don't get it. But Jeff Foxworthy though, like he's classic. Like he has the he might be a redneck. He has some kind of classic stuff. Nothing that I really find like super great. But I do love his bit about going to get a colonoscopy. Like one of my favorite bits from Jeff Foxworthy. So that's pretty funny. So yeah, I'm gonna go Jeff Foxworthy. Adam?
I'm going Roseanne Barr. Again, the 80s, that whole 80s comedy revolution of the stand-ups where on any given night you could see Roseanne Barr, Bill Maher, Gary Shandling. I mean, all these people were just making comedy brand new and exciting, and she rocked. She was great. I mean, I don't know what happened to her, but she really rocked back then. And that show came out of the gates like unlike any show you'd seen. Like that show really did rock. I don't know about the new show. I don't know about her now.
Yeah.
I don't know what her problems are. But man, her coming out of the gates right there with all the rest of those comedians at that time, she rocked. And that show really at the beginning certainly rocked and was drop dead hilarious. Like that was appointment television and you howled at that show. She was great, man. Yeah, Roseanne Barr. No other choice in this one.
Yeah. Peggy?
Yeah, I'm going
Yeah.
Roseanne too. Dan Connor remains one of my favorite TV dads of all time.
Oh yeah, and there's that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that has nothing to do with stand up, but just and I'm
Dan is my favorite
I'll get
She
I'll give
chose
her-
the cast, she
Yeah.
produced
Yeah.
that show.
Sure. I mean, you can't go wrong with John Goodman.
Yeah.
But I think I'll give my vote to Roseanne purely on the fact that I've been told that when I cackle when I really laugh, my laugh sounds a little bit like Roseanne's. And
Nice.
I think it as a compliment, so I'll go Roseanne.
Paul.
Right, Paul.
I'm taking in all the talk of her impact, but I gotta tell you, I just couldn't listen.
Oh yeah.
Roseanne Barr, the whiny. I know
I'm the same
Dangerfield kind of found her and put her in the forefront, and she lived up to the hype and forged this huge career. But the hanging, I just didn't like it. Didn't like it. It's that simple. I can't deny the influence. Foxworthy. I mean, that's a comedy a genre launch that was pretty damn influential. Obviously, a bunch of other people jumped on that. If you're lying through your tooth.
He's funny, don't get me wrong.
Yeah. So, but I think I'm going to go with him because I'll laugh more at him.
Yeah.
No, he's instantly classic, that's for sure.
Yeah.
If you have a bunch of dishes in your cabinet and they all say Cool Whip on the side.
Yeah.
Truth.
If you have a new television on top of your old television. No, I mean, listen, one of these people, I own like 7 of their albums, and the other one's Roseanne Barr. So I go with that. So yeah.
Good point.
So, sorry, Roseanne, but I've been a Foxworthy fan for a long time, so I go Fox.
Yep. So I think Foxworthy just barely edges her.
Yeah, just barely 3-2 though. Yeah.
Yeah.
For Roseanne.
3-2.
No, it's a good battle.
Yeah. So up next we have Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt. Chris Rock.
This is a good matchup.
And where's Peggy? Because she's the first vote. Did she disappear? Or is she still with us?
We'll have to come back around to her.
I'll have to come. All right. We'll start with Paul, and we'll go back around. So we'll jump to Paul.
Yeah.
So Paul, you can go first on this one.
Patton Oswalt is crazy funny. You know, the whole bit about time traveling to kill George Lucas with a shovel is one of the all-time great stand-up comedy routines you're going to hear. But I mean, Rock is you can't label Patton Oswalt a superstar of comedy. Chris Rock is a superstar of comedy.
Yeah.
And continues to bring new and interesting stuff, except for he always talks about what you guys were talking about, people bringing phones and recording stuff. He's like, I can't go out and test my material because they'll put it up before it's polished and people see it too soon, you know? So I feel like we haven't had anything new from Chris in a while, but I hope we do soon because he is a superstar and gets my vote.
Yeah. Well, Austin, who you got?
Yeah, like Rock is so damn good. But I have to be true to my heart on this one, Paul. And like Patton Oswalt is like such a part of my life. Like Patton Oswalt did like cut through to my heart and just makes me laugh almost like I wouldn't say more than anybody on this list, but pretty damn hard. And I just go back to him more than I go to Rock. So I'm going to actually give my vote to Patton on this one, but by a razor thin margin.
Yeah. So for me, one of these has my heart, but then the other one has like the influence on my brain more. Like I know that they're more of an influence on and like just like what they've done for like stand-up comedy for like race, for like the like all the like black comedy that he does with
really
Chris
what
Rock,
has Patton done for race, Jordan? Oh, sorry, you're going
right. Everything, let me tell you. But but yeah, like Patton though, he has my heart just because like he appeals to the nerd inside of me, and he's like big into Star Wars and all that kind of nerd side, and like that's a huge part of my life. But you can't go up against Chris Rock. Like I just feel like he's a superstar, kind of like Paul said, like Patton Oswalt is not a superstar, but Chris Rock is, and like I don't think anyone can do like jokes about racism the way Chris Rock does, and I think like he's one of the best. I got to go with Chris. Adam?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I will stand up for the alt comic revolution of the 90s, which also brought back album comedy, and Patton Oswalt. I'll stand up for that all day long, and I love that generation of comedians, and Chris Rock actually precedes that a little bit. But, boy, that change from the type of comedian he was before he went on Saturday Night Live, and when he came off Saturday Night Live and just fired out of a cannon and just made the regular person on the street watch that and go, that's stand-up. You know, like he commands that stage. It's just so impressive. It's impressive enough that he could make Patton Oswalt look like not as good a comedian as Chris Rock. So,
Yep.
Sorry, Patton.
Well, Peggy, what do you think?
You're
Oh,
muted.
can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Hey, sorry about that. Hey, can you hear me now?
Hey,
Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
Yep, you're good.
It wouldn't be a broadcast with me on it if I didn't mute myself at some point in time. Yeah, apologies to Patton. I think he's hilarious, but Bigger and Blacker is one of my probably top 10 favorite comedy specials of all time.
insanely
I gotta go
good.
rock.
So good. Yep.
Who cares
Yeah,
about the price of the guns? Make them $10,000 a
Yeah,
bullet.
you need
That'll
bullet
change
control.
people's mind.
So you're going back to Shawshank.
Yeah, right.
So good.
You know, when I think of
All right.
HBO specials, there's only like a couple that I think of when I think of pure best HBO specials, and Chris Rock is one of them. So,
It's one of the
You
best.
You need to watch Damon Wayans
Yeah.
still standing. I'm still bitter that he's not on this fucking topic.
oh yeah.
He shouldn't have stopped doing stand-up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He was a borderline pick, like a borderline cut, I think.
Yeah,
Damon
yeah,
Wayans.
he was.
Yeah.
I tried, guys.
But-
You at home, I tried.
But next up, we have Bob Newhart going up against Bill Maher.
Bill Maher.
Oh.
Kind of opposites in a way, but
right. We go to Paul.
Yeah, Paul goes first. I missed my
Total
first.
opposites.
No, it's okay.
yeah.
I mean,
It's all right.
Bob Newhart's, mastery of creating and delivering his own form with the one-sided phone call bits is just hilarious.
Right.
If you haven't heard him do the driving instructor one, super funny.
Oh yeah.
The Abe Lincoln one.
But I lobbied to get Bill on this list, and I'm going to vote for him because, here's a guy who has had a show for 30 years or something crazy, and on it he gets to do stand up. And what does he do in his off time? He does stand up.
Mhm.
I mean, he puts out specials, and if you watch Real Time, he's like, "Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to be at the Mirage July 15th. I'm going to be in Oklahoma." And he plays the places that think he's that are against him, because he'll go to like red states where he's like, "No, I love the people. It's the politicians I can't stand." So he'll go and do comedy there, and I hope to go see him. Man, I saw him at Zanies. Adam, remember Zanies in
I
Chicago?
do remember
Yeah.
Zanies. Yeah.
Back in
I
the
saw
90s.
Artie Lang there.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
nice.
So yeah, where's he? But
right.
Deservedly not here.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What am I thinking? Where is he? He's doing coke. Anyway, Bill Maher. So Bill gets my vote.
Yeah. Austin, what do you think?
This is another one where I'm not over the moon about really either one of them. I tried to brush up on some Bob Newhart, some of his bits. They were all right. They're very old fashioned and okay. They're fine. And Bill Maher, I don't really go for like all political all the time kind of stand up, which is what sort of he's into. But I'll give it to Bill just because he's put out more material lately. I mean, really, and and his documentary Religulous is like one of my favorites of all time, though. I will say that.
Yeah, so I'll just say that I'm not a fan of Bill Maher. Like he's just way too political for me. I don't like when the comedians get too political. So like he just kind of turns me off in that way. But Bob Newhart though, I love a good story from Bob Newhart. The way that he just kind of delivers it slow, the slow burn, the kind of slow punchline, the super dry humor. It just cracks me up every time. I'm a pretty big fan of dry humor, so yeah, I think he does it great. So I'll go with Bob Newhart. Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Bill Maher, again, from that same era as Roseanne Barr, where it's like, God, everybody you saw in a 4-comedian lineup was just these epic comedians. So I followed him forever. However, in comparison to Bob Newhart, who I'm a big fan of as well, particularly his shows, I did like those a lot as well. But I've heard all of his stand-up albums. And I guess more, again, club comedian back then. They didn't really have the genre of stand-up was kind of coming about. But I got to say, in comparison between the two, Bill Maher does kind of jokey jokes, whereas Bob Newhart does something much more challenging. And if someone did it now, it would be a radical reinvention of the form. But he just did it before the form was even quite invented. So, yeah, I think I'm Bob Newhart, man. He's kind of radical in what he does and what he created.
All right, Peggy,
All
it's
right,
down to you.
Yep, thank you, Peggy. You got the tiebreaker.
Well, if I'm watching the brackets the way I think I'm watching the brackets, doesn't matter who I vote for; they're gonna get destroyed by Rock in the next round. But
True.
Bob, okay,
Yeah.
but in with that in mind, Bob Newhart is a legend. He very much is. But I happen to really like Bill Maher. I mean, Politically Incorrect was a groundbreaking show back in the day. I like the fact that he's not afraid to have people with the exact opposite opinion of his, and then and debate it out. I know this is stand-up bracket, but I don't know the Bob Newhart show. I don't remember much of Bob Newhart's stand-up. So for that, I'm gonna have to vote Maher.
Not a bad
Button
vote.
down mind, right,
Yeah.
Adam? The buttoned down mind of
Yeah.
Bob Newhart.
Button
There you
down
go,
mind
Peggy.
of Bob Newhart.
Go find that. Peggy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that. Okay.
It's available next to the Mort Saul album of your choice, I'm sure.
Alan King live from the Catskills.
No, I'll check it out for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
That's why I want to be a part of this panel. I love stand-up comedy.
Yeah. So up next we have Howie Mandel going up against Joe Rogan. So all right. So
this one
Well,
we
you're
go
up,
to me
awesome.
first on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Howie. His older specials are really good. I was actually a big Bobby's World fan back in the day, which he did the voice of. Yeah. Just because that was my generation. But like I another one where I've owned all of Joe's albums. I've been a big fan of his for a long time, so I gotta go with Rogan on this one.
Yeah, for me, so just kind of hearing stories about both of these stand-up comedians, like both of them work super hard. They're both grinding it out all the time, day in and day out. But like I just feel like for whatever reason, I feel like Howie Mandel is a little bit more of a stand-up comedian that like just works. He does all the small clubs. We even hear him talk about how he enjoys doing small clubs way more than doing like big arenas and everything. And like he just loves going, like being one of the like late night closers at a small little club, just kind of like in the middle of nowhere, or like New York City even. So like
Middle of nowhere, New
I
York.
gotta go. Yeah, right. Well, either one, like just the contrast, like what he'll do either one. So but yeah. So but I gotta go with Howie. Yeah.
I grew up again with the 80s comedians, and I had the North American Watusi tour, Howie Mandel's concert on tape, and I wore that tape out. And Howie goes to Maui, and I wore that tape out. Howie Mandel was just the most freshest, weirdest, original voice in comedy. Yeah, and very weird, and just there's so many things that I emulated from Howie that I just loved. Joe Rogan, I got to watch him I lived next to the Improv, and a friend of mine did stand up there, and I watched Joe Rogan like every night for 2 years.
Wow.
But Howie, I got to go Howie. It's like, I respect Rogan, but Howie he's from that era, and he's so weird, and he's just the best. I love Howie Mandel.
Yeah.
Watusi tour.
Yep. Peggy?
I'm not hugely familiar with all of their stand-up bits. I mean, I've seen specials from both. I know them both. I know Joe Rogan more as a podcaster and the host of what was it? What was it?
Fear Factor. Yeah.
And then I know Howie more from like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. What's the one with the cases?
Deal or No Deal.
Oh,
Deal
yeah.
or No Deal and like American. Anyway,
Just got to
doesn't
know
matter.
all that kind of
Doesn't
stuff.
matter.
Yeah.
But
News
I
radio.
think I'm gonna vote based on who had the better hair before they started shaving their heads. My vote goes to Howie Mandel.
Yeah.
No.
They had the mullet, the old school mullet. Yep.
I saw Howie in an arena in the 80s, and he killed. And this was based on, I had the cassette tape of the Fits Like a Glove album.
Yeah.
We do put the glove in his head, over his
yep.
nose, and then blow it up. And he killed. He slayed. And then last week, like I said, I saw him at the Flappers, the small clubs you say he likes to play, and he brought it again. And it's the same energy. It's 60s energy, and it's also if he came in with the crazy manic energy you saw him have in the 80s, it would just be totally inauthentic. So just to come in and be like this and still tell super crazy jokes, yeah, I think he's great and always will. And even back then, I was like, this is a guy from St. Elsewhere? Yes, funny.
Yeah.
Howie.
Oh, that's going way back.
All right.
There's
4-1
Brian
goes to
chiming in.
Howie.
says Howie Mandel brought him on stage at a show, so that's pretty cool.
Did he dump water down your pants?
Yeah, right. Yeah, what did he do? but yeah, so I think with that.
Can I just do one quick Howie Mandel joke?
Yes,
Not
please.
as well as he does, but he's trying to open an account in the bank, right? And so they said you need an ID, so I gave him my library card, and they said that's not good enough. We need something with a picture on it, so I took it back. I drew a picture on it. I gave it back to him. They said that's not good enough. I said, what? I got to be a fucking artist to get in here?
He has a bit, and I won't do the whole thing here, where he comes out and he goes, and he's playing, he can't speak English correctly, and he goes to this long thing where he goes, I want to, and like it takes so long to get to this, and he goes, I want to talk better, and he takes like 3 or 4 minutes to get to that. Gosh,
Nice.
oh my god, love Howie.
Yeah, and he's still just as weird. If you go to like his like TikTok, like even as a TikTok or like an Instagram, he has some kind of weird stuff that they still puts out to this day. That like you watch and you're kind of like that's funny, but that's like really off the wall. Yeah. So, but next up we have Mitch Hedberg going against Rodney Dangerfield.
That's so funny. I had a stand-up friend who used to do Rodney Dangerfield's jokes as Mitch Hedberg.
Really?
And it's a great bit. The two are interchangeable in such a funny way.
Yeah.
Jeez, who do you choose here?
Yeah. So,
all right, this is Jordan first. Jordan. All right.
This one's tough because I was just recently introduced to Mitch Hedberg. I grew up listening to Rodney Dangerfield all the time. So he is the comedy legend in my eyes. But like Mitch Hedberg though, like some of the stuff that he did was just so funny. A lot of like hilarious kind of observational kind of humor that I saw from him. But I gotta go with the one that I know more, which is Rodney Dangerfield. Like he's a legend. So yeah, I'll go with Rodney.
Yeah, I mean, Rodney is, if you did an impersonation I guess if you did an impersonation of both, you would get a comedian savvy person would go, oh, that's Mitch Hedberg. But still, I mean, Rodney, like, just defined this tone that he had, and he just was such even so much more unique than even Mitch Hedberg, who has much more of a Stephen Wright energy. Right, no respect. And just like the energy he brought out, God, if you look up any Tonight Show thing, the way he takes the stage and everything, yeah, obviously Mitch has got the low-key energy, but Rodney is like, that. Look at that face. He's just carved through comedy stone right there. So, sorry, Mitch, but you're going up against Rodney, and I think even Mitch would vote on Rodney on this one.
Right. Peggy, what do you think?
All right. I'm going to make it interesting. While Back to School was on repeat at my home growing up, and I had the hugest crush on Jonathan Brandis as a child, and Jonathan Brandis started in a movie called Ladybugs, and his coach was Rodney Dangerfield. So you would think I would go Rodney, but you know what? I want to see if it might be a close vote. I'm going to give it to Mitch. Some of his little bits, like I'm gonna butcher this one, but it was something along the lines of, who are they to say how many bedrooms the house has in it? It's like, this bedroom has an oven in it. I don't know. Just
Yeah, right.
My bedroom. I have 5 bedrooms in my house, and mine has an oven in it. So
thank you. I knew I was gonna completely mess it up. But
somebody asked me if I like a frozen banana. I said no, but I like a regular banana later. So yes.
I'm gonna ask my dreams to the phone and get them later. But yeah, keep it interesting. My vote's Mitch.
I think the Pringles company originally made tennis balls.
So great.
Paul, what do you think?
No one ever went to a club called Hedberg's. I vote Rodney.
Yeah.
My wife signed me up for a bridge club. I jump off next Tuesday.
I got on top of my wife. I wanted to plant a flag.
Yeah.
I jumped into a cab, asked the driver, we're going to get some action around here. He took me to my house. I figured I did chime in with one too. So yeah. But I go Rodney. I love Mitch. As you can see, I'm a fan of his material. Like, I think he's a brilliant joke writer. Rest in peace. Gone too soon. Another one. But yeah, it's Rodney, dude. It's Rodney.
It's Rodney. Yeah.
Come on.
He's got to get some respect on this list, you know?
Right.
Yep.
Not mad at that at all.
Some respect. Yep.
Yeah.
So up next we have Sebastian Maniscalco. One of them is Eddie Izzard.
Eddie Izzard.
Yeah. All right. So
on Adam,
with
on
Adam on this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go here. I mean, Sebastian's great. I saw him in the Wild West Comedy Tour at the Laugh Factory, or at the Comedy Store, and he slayed, killed. But compared to Eddie Izzard, he does jokey jokes. And jokey jokes are fine, but Eddie Izzard transcends that. There's something so much extra and epic about his concerts and the pieces he does. And so I would go Eddie here, just because Sebastian, at his heart, is a little more jokey jokes, whereas Eddie's got something extra going on, epic about the pieces he does, you know?
Yeah. Peggy?
My vote's Eddie. Sebastian, I mean, I've seen a couple of his specials, and he has yet to make me like really, really laugh out loud. I'm like, at a few things, but that's about it. So he has yet to really win me over. So yeah, Eddie for sure.
Well, Paul?
I've seen both these guys. I think I just laughed a little more at Sebastian. It is jokey jokes, and that it's observational comedy. In fact, now he's become a father, and their jokes are less funny. You know, it's the same as like you introduce a kid into a sitcom, the show's less funny.
Right.
The stand-up, same deal. His stuff is not as good where he's talking about being a dad as he was talking about having to take your shoes off when you go into a house. Grown men in their socks, you know.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that much more. But, yeah, God, and Eddie is, you're right, Eddie is a bit of a poet. But I think I'll vote Sebastian.
Yeah. Well, Austin?
Yeah. Props for Sebastian for selling out Madison Square Garden like 3 nights in a row.
Damn.
Like, props to that, which is crazy again for a comedian, but we might get to somebody in a minute that did it first. We'll go. But I'll give it to Eddie. He's a little deeper. He's an artist. I like Eddie.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so
Take a
both of these, but both of these comedians, I've only seen just minimal content from them, like not a whole lot, but I've seen a little bit from both. And I think that probably Eddie, like it's a tough choice. Like I can really go either way. It's almost like a coin flip for me, but I think Eddie just edges out. Like he makes me laugh just a little more. And I kind of agree with Adam. Like there's a little more to it. Like he just a little more like something original that he brings to the table. I feel like so I'll go with Eddie.
All right.
So
Go with that.
Izzard goes through.
The vote?
Yep.
Are we not through the
4-1.
first round of 32 yet?
Yeah, I know. I'll address that in just a minute. Hang on a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Almost there. We have Don Rickles.
Don Rickles.
Going up against Robin Williams.
Robin Williams. Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh,
So-
man. Talk about a Sophie's choice. And Peggy, guess what?
No, why is
Peggy,
it always me?
you're first. These crazy ones, yep.
Oh. Okay, so there's a story. I don't know if you guys what Don Rickles and Frank Sinatra, where he was at a restaurant and he
That's a
told Frank
great
to come
story.
over and say hi, and he acted like he like big timed him. And and Rickles is a legend, but so is Robin. I gotta go Robin, and it pains me. It pains me. I hope Don gets some votes from the panel, but I gotta go Robin.
Just because of the matchup.
If Don was up against Mitch Hedberg or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I mean,
Yeah, someone else.
I don't like the seating, yo. I don't like it at all.
Both these
Paul?
guys are amazing because I think they can do a show anywhere, whether there's a show, you know, ticketed or not. Like backstage in a Robin Williams concert, I'm sure there was a show, you know. But I think Robin's would just be so much more engaging. I mean, I don't know how do you stop watching that guy?
Yeah.
Now's the only time you can. But while he was alive, I don't know how you stop watching Robin Williams. I went to a Q&A once of a movie he was in, and he's just, they asked him one question. He's up. He's doing it with the front row. And he's like, just like, here he goes. And it's just a pleasure to watch everything he does. Rickles could do the same thing in that, like, he'll just, if he was here now, he'd like, look at you up at the top. He'd just take out all 5 of us in our different Zooms. He'd rip our thumbnails. He'd rip our backgrounds. He'd rip our everything.
Yeah.
And it would be glorious. But I think Robin, for sheer manic, and the Live at the Met album, I mean, is just was another one of those childhood albums that I wore out. I wore out the tape.
Yep.
Robin.
Well, Austin?
Yeah, I was going to mention the Live at the Met thing was one of the earliest things I ever saw of Robin, even before a lot of his movies, because I would see like the censored version on TV, and then I didn't see the uncensored version until later. But yeah, it's one of my earliest comedy memories, and Robin is Robin, man. And yeah, if Don was up against almost anybody else, I'd probably vote for him, but I'll go with Robin.
Yeah, and earlier today, so if you don't know that I've been listening to like pretty much straight comedy since I woke up today, just to kind of catch up on all these for the show. So yeah, and so I listened to Robin Williams live at the Met, but then also Robin Williams live on Broadway, just to see something a little more recent from him, and like both of them were just fall down funny. They're just so good. I don't think anybody like really makes me laugh harder on this entire list than Robin Williams. I think like he just so all over the place, just so crazy, and just like going in all these different impressions, and like the jokes hit like they just one after the next, but they all hit pretty hard. So yeah, like I gotta go with Robin Williams. So, but
here's how good Robin Williams was. Huh. I vote Robin Williams. There you go.
All right. There you go.
All right. What's a clean sweep for Robin on that one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So coming up, we have Russell Peters going up against Andrew
Dice
Clay.
The Dice Man, and Russell Peters.
Oh.
All right.
All right.
Paul is up first in this one.
Paul.
I know Russell Peters is very prolific. He's a comic. Everybody, I only discovered him very recently. He was on that Comedy Gold Mines show with Kevin Hart, and so I decided to listen to some stuff. I had a buddy of mine who opened for him, and I haven't heard enough, and he's pretty funny, but Dice was a movement. And I think we can all quote his stupid nursery rhymes. And so,
yeah.
Staying power, there's something to that. Is he a great stand-up comic? I mean, probably not. I mean, Russell Peters probably is.
Correct
assessments. I don't know. So this is a coin flip. I just figure I vote for somebody here, and they probably get beat by whoever we just voted for, whoever goes up against them in round two. So I don't know. I'll go Dice because 25 years from now, he'll still probably be talked about more than Russell Peters.
Right.
And we're talking all time. So there you go.
Yeah.
No one's looked at the future yet, have they? I took care of
that. Little boy Blue, he needed the money. Dude, Dice is one of my favorites ever. I fucking love Andrew Dice Clay. And the day the comedy died, the one album where he just bombs for like an hour is one of the funniest albums ever. Just watching him not give a shit. It's so great. It's so good. If you haven't listened to it,
I just heard about this album that he deliberately bombs for an hour.
No, so he's just trying out new material. Like it's all this material that like he's never tried out before, and all of it, like even in front of his crowd, just like bombs left and right. But it's one of the funniest things you've ever heard. Like watching him slowly bomb in front of his own crowd is so funny. It's so funny. So check it out.
Yeah. So I think like I just want to give some love to Russell Peters just because like if you listen to the album, I forget the name of it, but like where he does all the different Asian accents over and over. Like he does like a Thailand one, he does like an Indian one, he does a Chinese, he does like a Vietnamese, all the different little nuances and little different parts of the accent, and like has little bits like the culture thrown in there. Like he's just so good at it. And like when I heard it, like I was just blown away when I first heard it. Like Andrew Dice Clay is great, but I just want to give some love to Russell Peters, so I'm going to vote for Russell Peters on this one. So
okay. So I mean, I'm gradually gathering over time that Dice was deliberately bad, also on all of his albums, right? He's playing an act that's not funny, right?
He's he used to do stand up not as Andrew's like Schultz or whatever his last name.
Right.
Like he used to do straight stand, and then the Dice Man was one of his characters at the end, like his closing bit. And then he just absorbed and just became the Dice Man.
So when all of my friends in school who started listening to this stand-up album, I'm like, none of you have ever mentioned comedy, and I go and I listen to what they're listening to, and it's this, and it's terrible. The album with Hickory Dickory, I mean, it's terrible. All of that, I was like, guys, this is not good stand-up. So, but I guess that's the bit, is that it's not good, but all my dumb friends thought it was good because he said the word cock, you know? Anyway, I never liked Dice, but I guess I didn't get the joke. But I guess if we're so best stand-up, he's not a good stand-up, but that's the bit. Like Andy Kaufman wasn't a good stand-up either because he was deliberately bad. So if it's a performance thing, then I guess Dice. But if it's stand-up, then Russell Peters. So where do I go here?
That's what I was saying.
Flip a coin.
Yeah.
Russell
Literally
Peters
flip
is
a
a
coin
better
if you want.
stand-up comedian. But
I'm going Russell Peters. I still got stuck in my craw that Andrew Dice Clay was not a good stand-up, but I guess that's the bit. Anyway, I'm confused.
Peggy, what do you think then?
All right. Dice was on Entourage. Russell Peters was in Source Code.
Yeah, true.
Russell's already advanced, right? Or is it
No,
tied?
it's 2-2 right now.
yeah.
It's 2-2
Well,
right
you
now.
want to know what? Whoever
2-2.
advances is gonna get kicked out of the bracket in the
Yeah.
next round.
Yeah.
So you want?
Right.
I'm gonna give it to Russell Peters just because I enjoy his humor.
All right.
All right.
All right. So Russell Peters advances. So we're almost to the end of the side, but next up we have
Yeah,
one.
right.
We have
2
Wanda
hours,
Sykes.
20 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Running back.
Versus Bernie Mac. So I think
It's to me
I think
first.
up is you.
Yeah.
Austin, all right. All right.
I ain't scared
So
of
who
you
you got?
motherfuckers. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. Bernie Mac all the way.
Yeah, so these are both pretty bold comedians. I feel like so like I have a lot of love for Wanda Sykes. Whenever she pops up on like any sitcom or TV show, I always think that she's great. Like I used to love her on that like New Adventures of Old Christine. Like she was my favorite part of that show. But Bernie Mac is Bernie Mac. Like he killed it in the Def Jam comedy tour. Like that was the first time that I ever saw it. Austin sent me some clips, and I was just like totally blown away. Just like, man, like I never knew Bernie Mac like this. Like this is Bernie Mac. This is awesome. And so yeah, I got to go with Bernie Mac. But Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Kings of Comedy, that was a pretty epic stand-up concert film. And I guess, I don't know this history behind it, but I guess these people were, all very famous comedians, but not to most of America. So that's where they put that film together and that tour together. Yeah. So Kings of Comedy was just a gigantic, sword in the stone of comedy, of like putting that flag down of like, these are comedians you got to pay attention to. And Wanda just can't, she's cute, she's funny, but she just can't hold a candle to the epicness of the Kings of Comedy as a concert film that introduced America to these people that we should know. And after we watched that, we're like, oh yeah, I should know these people. And I followed Bernie Mac ever since after that. So yeah, Bernie Mac.
Yeah.
Here's where I redeem myself as a Chicagoan. I'm sorry, Hannibal. I'm sorry I didn't vote for you, but I can't not vote for Bernie.
Right, there you go.
Bernie all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, for all the things Adam said, the Kings of Comedy are underrepresented here. No Steve Harvey to vote on, no D.L. Hughley, no
True.
Cedric the Entertainer. So Bernie's got to represent. That was a massive tour and a big movie, and spawned a Queens of Comedy. Like they.
Yeah.
And a Latin Kings of Comedy and a whatever Kings of Comedy and every other thing. Yeah.
Bernie.
And whatever else.
All right.
Bernie.
Well, with that, Bernie moves on.
Nice.
All right. So coming up next, we got Sinbad going against Tim Allen.
Tim Allen. Ooh.
Some 80s classics here.
Yeah. So
Jordan's up first on this one.
First? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I actually listened to two Tim Allen stand-up specials today and a Sinbad. So you can tell the amount of comedy I was listening to today a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so but Tim Allen, for whatever reason, like he just has this like when it's kind of cliche to say, but like a direct line to my funny bone, you could say. So it's kind of like he just like really resonates with me, like just all the humor about like the cars, about the tools, about like being a man's man. He does the grunts, he does all the different little noises. I resonate so much more with him. But I do think that Sinbad's funny, but he doesn't make me laugh the way Tim Allen does. So I'll go with Tim. But Adam?
Yeah. I mean, the epic I can't tell you any single Sinbad act. He's a good comedian, and some people make fun of him because he was kind of 80s, but I've heard he still kills it. And Tim Allen doesn't do stand-up anymore. But you know what? I mean, the epic piece that Tim Allen did that turned into that show, that's just, everybody still knows that. It's an epic piece of comedy. And talking the best comedian of all time, that's a pretty epic piece that lasts to this day. So, yeah, I'd go Tim Allen.
Yeah.
I love the movie Necessary Roughness. I want to make this a closer fight. I'm gonna go Sinbad. Just because the fashion.
Did you like Jingle All the Way?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Jingle All the
Way. For a Christmas movie, maybe. But Paul, what do you think?
I'm going to put this on Austin because Toy Story, Galaxy Quest, that's about as far as I go with Tim Allen. Sinbad had specials in the 80s that killed Sinbad.
Yeah. All right, Austin.
And this is a tough one for me. I'm a big fan of both these guys. Legitimately, Men Are Pigs and Rewires America are great specials. Sinbad has like Brain Damage, Bell Bottoms is a great special. I'll go with the guy I've seen twice in person and can take any material and make it funny, and I'll go with Sinbad on this one. And I've seen him, him in both a small club setting and in a theater. I've actually seen him in both settings. So
I've heard he kills.
I'll go through. He absolutely demolishes the room every time. He's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard. I need to listen to some. I will be listening to him tonight after this.
He's damn good. Yeah. But that's a tough one.
Let's end round one. Finally.
Okay. So let me.
All right. So long, guys. This was great. Put the list up on. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Let me let everybody know where we are.
I totally understand.
So we are at 2 hours and 25 minutes, the normal length of a regular show for us. So we have to, now that we've got the pleasantries out of the way and everybody has said their piece about each of these comedians, we have to plow through these, plow through these. Okay, now that we've said our piece.
Yeah, that's true. We've said what's great about all these people.
We said what's great. What we like.
Yeah.
I know there's going to be tough matchups. We know this. But we have to 10 seconds or less plow through these things per person.
All right, Thanos is going to win.
I'm bored.
Yeah. Because otherwise we will be here for 4 hours, and this is not gonna, and nobody's going to watch this. So
And the bracket's a little finicky, so let me bring it up.
Give him a second because he's got to scroll out and kind of.
Let me grab a cup of coffee.
Yeah. Go for it. Yeah.
No.
Let's all leave.
Totally. Yeah. So this is going to be the next matchup, though.
I think everybody's going to take a quick pee break real quick is what everybody's doing, I think.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I'm okay.
I figured it go a little long. I didn't realize it would go this long, but I'm fine. Like, me personally, I don't mind long shows, so
I don't mind it. It's just I have to go to work in 4 hours. So by the time we get to the show, it's going to be 2 hours. So yeah.
Well, I'm going to plow through
Yeah, that's fine. Everybody take whatever break you need to take.
Ready for some speed rounds.
And we got to go rapid fire in the style of the show now. So that's what we're gearing up here for.
Yeah.
Right. But I don't know, any big surprises so far from what we can tell? Maybe Don Rickles not making it just based on the draw is kind of he was kind of a powerhouse.
I'm trying to think who else well,
Steve Martin maybe would have been considered a favorite that didn't make it through. A couple of heavy hitters that didn't make it just because given the random draw. Jim Jeffries, some really good. I mean, for me personally, Patton Oswalt, I'm a giant Patton Oswalt fan. So had he gone up against somebody else, maybe.
Jim Jeffries getting bounced in round one hurts my heart.
Yeah.
I voted for him.
Yeah. Same. And I'm excited for Brian Regan. He's one of my favorite comedians of all time. I love Brian Regan, so I'm glad you made it.
Yeah,
so that's
glad to see you made it.
Yeah.
I'm happy with my life because as we go through this, I've seen a lot of these guys. I saw Kinnison.
Yeah.
I saw Kinnison years ago in Rochester, New York.
Yeah.
I saw Kinnison. Awesome. Yeah, that'd be it. That'd be like a high intense, high energy show, I imagine.
And I saw Jim last week. I saw Norm.
Kinnison's 10-minute set on Dangerfields where he kind of got introduced is legendary. It's damn good. It's about the most solid 10 minutes you'll get. He's awesome. But yeah. And one of his albums, the one where he talks about the drunk driving and all the different stuff, like I had to listen to that on a road trip. I only had his album and Patton's album to switch back and forth. It's the only 2 CDs I had in the car. So I listened to both of them back to back, like over and over again on like a 5-hour trip. So I got very familiar with those. Technically, Adam is next up in the draw here, actually.
So go get a cup of coffee.
Just skip me before we can skip him.
Okay, we can skip him if you want. We'll come back to him. We can come back to him with me too. So maybe if we want to start with Peggy, and then we'll jump back and start with Adam on the next one. So we'll do that, and hopefully by the time we get around to it, he'll be back. So
that's cool.
But yeah, Peggy, we've got. We should let people know. We have Louie C.K. versus Sam Kinison for the 32. Oh, there he is. There he is. Okay, he got in just in time. So we'll go back to Adam.
Yeah. But, am I first here?
Yeah, we're just setting it up. So yeah, you're first here. So Sam Kinison and Louie C.K.
Louie C.K.
Louie C.K.
He's gonna get harder and harder from here, but
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Kinison. I'm going Kinison.
All right.
I'm gonna vote for the guy I voted for before of the two of these, so Louie C.K.
And I'll also vote for the first I voted for, which is Sam Kinison. So it'll come down to Jordan.
And I didn't vote for either one of these, but they both advanced, so I'm gonna go with Louie C.K. I think.
Okay.
All right.
So we got Louie C.K.
He's gonna be he's screaming about that in the picture. He's not too happy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He's pissed. But
how dare you? Oh wow. We got Jim Gaffigan versus Bill Burr.
I am happy.
Two pasty white guys.
Happy to be first on this one.
Yeah.
Bill Burr all day.
Yeah. Paul?
Jim Gaffigan.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
Austin?
Yeah, that one's close. But I think overall I'd pick Burr, so I'll go Burr.
I won't get into a big explanation because I know we're going to move quick, but I used to be a huge Jim Gaffigan fan. I'm not so much recently because of like things he's come out and said and done. But so I'm going to go with Bill Burr. But Adam,
what the hell did he do? Isn't he like a church-going family man?
Well, he went off on his fans on Twitter over some Donald Trump stuff, like big time. Told them all to like fuck off and like all this crazy, like big time, like.
Oh, I remember that. Oh yeah, I definitely vote Jim Gaffigan.
And he's known as the clean comedian. So for him to do that was a little shocking to some people. So yeah.
Hey man,
anyway.
He's got hot pockets, man. He's got epic bits. People be quoting that forever, man. Gaffigan. Yeah. Sorry, Burr doesn't have that. Doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Burr, he won though. Yay.
Yeah.
Well, Burr won 3-2. Just squeaked through on that one.
That's right. Let's go.
Yeah, he did. 3-2.
I mean, I have no problem with that. I like Burr, but
I keep trying. Yep. All right, Paul's first on this one. We got Louis Black versus George Carlin. Oh man.
Do we even need to vote?
Considering where Carlin started, his whole career is a miracle. He poked a hole in the Bob Hope and late night boring monologue type comedians that were out there. Carlin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Austin.
Yeah, I hate to do it to Lewis because I own both of these guys, all of their albums on CD. So, but I'll go Carlin just by a hair. Sorry, Lewis, I apologize.
Yeah, for me, I grew up listening to George Carlin, like everything that he's done on repeat, and he's one of the smartest comedians out there, I think. So I'll go George Carlin. Adam.
Yeah, Louis Black can't hold a candle to Carlin. Louis Black would be the first to admit that.
Yep. Right.
Yeah, it's Carlin, but I just want to say that I just love the part where it's like, we should build a wall across the whole border of Canada because that's where the culture comes from. Sorry.
Yep.
It's Carlin all day.
Yeah. Joe Pesci, have mercy on anybody that goes against George Carlin in the later rounds.
Yeah,
it's a reference. If you get it, you get it.
Hey, right? Yes, I do. He prays to Joe Pesci.
Yeah. Joe Pesci. All right, Jordan.
You start with Paul?
George Carlin.
Well, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. All right.
Yeah, you have to put George Carlin through before we can go to the next round, Jordan.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no. Making sure everyone got a say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. You got Gary Shandling and Dane Cook. It goes to me.
Yep. Yeah, you're up.
Again, this one's just who I'm most familiar with and who I've owned the most stuff about. Oh no, it's we just had Paul. Yeah, Paul started with Carlin.
Yeah. Get started.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I've got them all. I've got them all written on a chart right here. I keep
That's good.
track
No,
of
you're
everything.
good. No, you're good. That's my bad. That's my bad.
I go Dane Cook. I'll go Dane Cook on this one, actually. Dane Cook.
Yeah, for me, I got to go Dane Cook. I just listen to him way more, so I'll go Dane Cook. Adam?
No, okay. I've said my piece about how Dane Cook brought back album comedy, but now I'm going with the classic, the veteran. We're going with Gary Shandling.
All right.
It's scary.
All right,
It's scary. My vote's Gary. Hands down. Gary Shannon.
We got the tiebreaker, Paul.
Ooh, I'm the tiebreaker. Listen, I can
Yeah.
only go, like I said in the first round in this set of brackets. I got to go for the guy I voted for previously, or who am I? A hypocrite? Gary
Yeah,
Shandling.
right.
All right.
All right, well.
Gary with the late comeback there, 3-2.
Yeah.
Without Dane Cook. All
So next
right.
up we have Pryor.
Richard Pryor.
Oh,
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle. Here we go. Two heavy hitters. Oh, man.
Ouch. Man.
Start with me, right?
Yeah, Jordan's
look at
first.
Pryor right there.
Oh,
Before we say
man.
anything, just look at Pryor right there. Look at that.
Yeah,
suit.
right?
Oh, my God.
He's like, you putting me up against Dane Cook? God damn, son.
Both kind of have the same
Jordan.
look on their face almost. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. This one's tough for me. I think just by a little bit, because I went back and listened to some Richard Pryor today. Like, I think I got to give it to Pryor just barely. So yeah, I'm gonna go Pryor. Adam.
I just love. I mean, it's Chappelle is such an amazing comedian, but God, just looking at Pryor there, and I can hear his voice, and I just got to put Pryor in there. Come on, man,
Yeah.
Pryor just so epic.
Yeah.
I think Chappelle would agree.
Yeah. Yeah, we probably.
We know why.
Well,
We
look
know
at
why.
this,
We know why. Dave Chappelle is great, but
Yep.
Pryor, baby.
Yep. Peggy.
I hate this. I hate it.
Yeah.
It sucks. This sucks.
So,
Sucks.
yeah.
But
We gotta whittle it down to one in the end. So.
I get that. I understand how brackets work.
Yep.
If you had chosen a
That's
less
tough.
epic shot of Pryor, this might be a different thing too. But look
Yeah.
at him.
Right. Yeah.
Just look at that guy.
Is that the Sunset Strip special? I think that's
Probably,
Is
yeah.
that the Sunset
Yeah.
Strip?
I
Yeah,
Yeah.
I confuse them sometimes. It's been a while since I've checked back into them.
I think that's the red suit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave, I adore you. I hope that you one day surpass Richard, but as of
Yeah.
right now,
Man,
it's close, but it's still Richard.
Close. Yeah.
I mean, just carved out of comedy granite, that Richard Pryor.
Yes. And plus he's from
Yeah.
Illinois, so hey.
Yeah.
Chappelle would probably say he owes his career to Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy would say he owes his career to Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
Richard Pryor.
Yep. Austin.
And I would have voted for Dave because I'm just more familiar with Dave's stuff than Richard, just personally.
You gotta
Yeah.
go
But,
back.
Yeah.
but there you go.
Well.
Yeah.
By a little
But
bit.
Richard still takes it 4-1. Yep. Mhm.
Yep. He advances, and then.
But he would have been a high seeded individual as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, up there with
Yeah,
Carlin and
if the seeds were
Seinfeld
differently.
and- yeah,
the seeds were
yeah.
different.
Let's see. All right,
We have Kevin Hart
Hart
up against Billy
versus
Connolly.
Billy Connolly.
Oh, these
Okay.
are the ones I missed. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. Kevin
Number
Hart
one.
made it over Red Fox, and Connolly beat out Margaret Cho. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we start with Adam down here.
Yeah.
So
Nah, we're
Billy
going
or Kevin.
Going Kevin Hart. I mean, he's such an epic persona, and Billy, as famous as he is, he just is smaller in epicness right now, nationwide,
It's not
worldwide. You know,
Yep. Yep.
Kevin Hart is the new stadium guy, the new big guy. You know,
Yeah,
he's
he is.
epic comedy.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, all right, Peggy.
Peggy.
Yeah. Kevin Hart's definitely smaller in stature.
That's true.
Yeah.
One is taller.
Yeah, I gotta go Kevin Hart. Just yeah.
Yeah. And we have Amaro Moses chiming in. Said
Yeah.
this is the
Stop, bro.
because
Can't beat Red. Yeah.
Yeah. They beat Red. Yep. But
It's more of a
It should be
sample
Billy
size.
Connolly.
That last
It's
one.
more of a
Yeah.
sample size on the Red Fox thing. Is kind of what we talked about. Sorry, he just didn't have enough.
Yeah.
Amaru Moses. Margaret Cho fan? All right, I go Kevin Hart.
Yep. Kevin Hart. All right.
Yeah, this one's Kevin Hart for me. Yeah, I'm way more
Yeah.
familiar with the stuff than Billy. Yeah.
We
Yeah,
gave
go
Billy
Kevin
all
Hart.
the respect by putting him in this bracket.
Yeah.
He won a
And
round.
He got
That's
through the
good.
first round. Yeah, you got through.
Yep.
Good job,
Yeah,
Billy.
but-
Moving on.
Yep. All right.
All right.
But
All right, Joan Rivers.
Joan Rivers.
Joan. Who
Going
she
against
go
Ray
against?
Romano.
Ray Romano. Ray Romano.
All right.
Okay.
I kicked this one off, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Peggy's won this one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta stick with my glass ceiling breaker. Going Joan. Let's go.
Yep. Paul.
I voted for both these, I believe, so tougher call. But yeah, I'll go Joan as well.
Yeah. Austin.
Yeah, Joan's the stronger one for me. So yeah, Joan.
I got to go with Joan Rivers. Yeah, I think she's just a lot stronger for me too. So, Adam.
Yeah, epic. She did it for 5 decades and just was a leader the entire time. Never lost the spotlight. You know, Ray Romano. You show these two comedians to somebody in, you know, the middle of nowhere in Central America, and they're going to go, I think I recognize Joan Rivers.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Joan. It's
All
Joan.
right. Yeah.
Do you
All right,
mean
clean sweep for
Central
Joan.
America or do you mean Central America?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Midwest.
middle or central.
Who's
I think
bigger in
either.
Nicaragua, right?
flyover.
Joan Rivers or Ray Romano?
Yeah. Right.
In the Amazon rainforest, you hold up 2 of these photos. You're like, oh, she does the red carpet, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
All right. Jerry Seinfeld.
Jerry
Here he
Oh,
is.
oh, sorry, Dave.
Oh, sorry, Dave.
Sorry, Dave.
All right,
We'll
Paul's
start with
first
Paul,
on this
but-
one.
It's a good thing we said how we loved all these people in the first
Right?
round,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
now we
yeah,
can just
yeah,
rip
right.
through
There's
and
no
go,
reason the first round took 2 hours.
Well,
Yeah,
Jerry,
Yeah, right.
to do observational comedy now, it just seems like you're being derivative of Jerry Seinfeld. That's how gargantuan he
right.
is.
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
invented
Right.
that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I vote Jerry.
What's the deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, Seinfeld is
Awesome.
Seinfeld. So yeah, this one's pretty. Yeah, I mean, I love Dave, but damn it, it's Seinfeld. Come on.
Yeah. Jerry Seinfeld is just epic. Like, I got to go Jerry all the way. So.
But
Yeah.
I'm glad Dave made it through a round. I'm happy.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
feels good. That's the other thing. Some of these people, they had a victory, good, moving on.
Mhm.
But aside from the famousness and the epicness and all that stuff, like Jerry's such a good stand-up. Like he's just a good technical stand-up. He's a
Yeah.
good. Even when he strays from his format, it's just his radical stuff is good. Comedians in Cars is good. You know, it's like
Oh,
he is the jam. So yeah, he's great.
A show about nothing's good. I mean, right? Like, he's
Right.
really,
Oh my
like,
God.
doing nothing. Yeah.
We haven't even talked about the TV show Seinfeld while talking about him.
No.
That's
Yeah,
how good
right.
he is.
Exactly.
No, yeah. You
Peggy.
can remove Seinfeld and you can just put, what was it, Insomniac was Attell's or
Yeah.
his
Yeah,
album,
yeah, yeah.
something like that, on Comedy Central, or you go Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go Comedians Cars Getting Coffee just because
Mhm.
I was always
Yeah.
interested in those conversations. So it's a clean sweep. It's Jerry.
All right, Jerry.
Yep.
Yeah, 5-0 on that one.
Yeah.
All right.
Who's he?
We love
gonna
you, Dave.
face?
We love you, Dave. He's
5-0, yeah.
damn funny. If
Yes,
you don't know
we love
Dave
you, Dave
Attell,
Attell, yes.
get to know Dave Attell.
Yeah.
It's damn funny.
If
Get
that's
to
the
know
end of
me.
our side.
All right, good job, guys. We
Get
got
to
through that
know
one
me.
fairly quickly.
All right.
All
Really
right.
quickly. So,
I'm
yeah.
dreading some of those
Move
later
over.
matchups. So some of those later matchups are going to be
Yeah,
big.
it's gonna be
big,
Yeah, it's
big.
going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of
All right,
disrespect,
so-
where is John Lovitz on this whole thing?
Yeah, right.
I saw him in Jacksonville at a comedy club, and he did the most scripted, no audience connection whatsoever material I'd ever seen.
I'm
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
it was
I think he's out of
unresolving material
practice.
ever.
I think
All right,
Yeah,
who's
probably.
Patrice
It
going
just-
up against?
All right,
Patrice.
Patrice.
Going up
Oh,
against Tig
Patrice.
Notaro.
Sorry, Tig.
Yeah. Sorry, Tig.
Um,
Yeah.
Goes to me
yeah.
first. This
Yeah,
one's
you're
this
up.
one's easy. It's Patrice, man. He's the man. Patrice is fucking awesome.
Yeah. For as much love that I have for Tig, like I really think that she's great, but this is Patricia O'Neil. I got to go with him like all day. So
Right.
Adam.
I'm going Patrice as well, and because the subtle type of comedy that Tig does, this sort of thing, that plays in the first round of the brackets, and now we're down to who brings the laughs, and it's Patrice, man. That
Who brings down
personality,
the fucking house?
you know,
Yeah,
that
right, yeah.
personality is
Yeah.
as big as the
Yeah,
stage,
and
as
he
big as
brings
him.
down-
Yeah,
Yeah.
Patrice, baby.
Yeah.
Gone too
Peggy?
soon. Gone
Gone
too
too
soon.
soon.
It's all day.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
doesn't matter who I vote for, so we can move along. Because
Yeah,
I'm
right.
not emotionally connected to either of these.
Oh, okay.
people.
Gotcha.
Tig's good.
All
All
good.
right.
Tig, maybe. Let me say
All right.
Tig to give her a vote. and then-
Well, fair enough.
There you go.
Yeah.
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 Patrice goes through.
Tig's just so adorable.
Next up, We have
Brian Regan
went up against Gallagher.
versus Gallagher.
Oh. Going up against a brick wall.
God.
So yeah.
All right,
Who's up
Jordan,
first?
you're up first. Jordan.
Well, surprisingly, and like I don't know if I'm going to get very much support, but I got to go Brian Regan. Like he's the one that I grew up with watching, like so much more than Gallagher. I do have respect for Gallagher, but I got to go Brian Regan here. Adam.
I didn't come here tonight to entertain you. I came here to sell you something because the Amazing Master Tool Corporation, a subsidiary of Fly By Night Industries, has entrusted who? Me, to show you the handiest of the dandiest kitchen tool. And don't you want to know how it works? Well, first you take an ordinary apple, you put the apple between the patented pan. Then what you do is you reach for a tool that's not a slicer. It is not a dicer. It's not a chopper and a hopper. What in the hell could it possibly be? Sledge-o-matic!
Very nice.
Nice. We know where he's going.
It's just that easy.
Yeah, just that easy.
It's just that easy.
That easy.
You want that cheeseburger to go? It's gone.
And we know kids love their chocolate milk. There you go.
Yep.
All right, Peggy.
Well, Peggy. Yeah.
Oh, and no, after all that, and he goes, Brian Regan for the win.
Brian Regan.
Yeah.
No, I'm going Gallagher, of course.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Gallagher's more of a comedic institution, but I want to throw some love to Brian Regan and just see how this unfolds. So I'm going to vote Brian.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, he's
Yes, let's go.
It's understandable.
That's it.
I got no stake in this game,
Understandable.
but Adam's a friend of mine, Gallagher.
All right.
It comes down to me.
Yep, Austin, it's all down to you.
Well, for this reason, I love you, Brian, but I have autographed material I still have from Gallagher, and I've seen him in clubs, theaters, you name it. Gallagher, baby, he won the
All right.
greatest.
Yeah.
So 3-2. Yeah,
figured
sorry,
that
Brian. I love you, Brian. I love you,
You're coming up
Brian.
against a brick wall here. Yep.
I know
Yeah,
we're all very apologetic when someone gets eliminated.
I know.
Right,
Well,
right,
I
I know, 'cause
love
they're all
Brian
good.
Regan.
We're so sorry. Yeah. But
Hey, man, Gallagher made it
That's
2
it.
rounds. I'm happy.
Yeah,
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
Sarah versus who?
Sarah versus
versus Eddie Murphy.
Eddie. Oh.
Sorry, Sarah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
another
sorry.
brick wall.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right.
Sorry, Sarah.
Who's up first?
Adam, you're up
Dude,
first.
Eddie
Adam.
Murphy, just so epic, man. So epic. Like, Silverman's good. She's great and everything. She defined part of the 90s, early 2000s. But Eddie Murphy is Eddie Murphy, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the
Sorry.
way.
Sorry, Sarah.
Peggy?
It's Eddie.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, Sarah.
I mean, man.
Got the
Yeah.
laugh.
Hercules, Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Jeffrey Robinson's the greatest boss I ever lived.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, listen up,
Easy
man.
Eddie.
Hey, listen to
Easy
me.
Eddie.
Here's the deal, okay?
There you
Listen, man, you got to get it for Eddie Murphy, okay? You got to give it to Eddie Murphy. You got to get it to Eddie Murphy.
Got the donkey and everything.
I want it. Come to me.
And tomorrow we make a lot.
Nice. Well, Austin, what do you got?
Eddie. Oh, I already said Eddie 100 times.
Okay.
Ooh. Sorry, okay, dude.
Yeah, I got to go with Eddie. I do think that Sarah Silverman might be one of the strongest like female comedians out there, but I got to go Eddie all day. So
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's great. She's just going up against Eddie Murphy, that's all.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
only going to get harder.
She would vote the same way.
ways. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So we have Jeff
Foxworthy.
Foxworthy up next.
That's
Going up
so
against
funny.
Chris Rock.
Foxworthy.
Chris Rock. Oh.
Sorry.
Polar opposites. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Peggy and
Peggy's up first. Yeah.
Chris Rock all day, not even a hesitation of thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Massive
How much for
performance.
one rib? Chris Rock.
Yeah.
You can change for 100.
Yeah.
Call me a nerd, but I'll give my love to Foxworthy on this one. I've just listened to more of him than
okay.
Chris Rock, so I'll give it to Fox.
Ow.
For me, this is probably the most one-sided matchup that we've had so far. For me personally, so like Chris Rock, hands down, all day, every day. I got to go with Chris Rock. So.
Oh man, here comes Rock versus
Adam?
Murphy.
I mean,
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
Oh, boy. It's
the,
coming.
the
Oh, boy.
shockwaves through comedy when Chris Rock did Bigger and Blacker. There are no shockwaves. It was a very slow
What suit
roll.
he was wearing?
Yeah, exactly.
It was a very slow roll with Foxworthy, but it was epic comedy shockwaves for Rock. So Rock all the way.
Yep.
And
Commitment.
It is.
one. Nope.
And we're coming back around later to a very hard match later.
Yeah. But we have Bill Maher
Bill
going
Maher.
up against Howie Mandel.
Howie.
Oh shit!
Right.
Yeah.
Paul, are you going to stick with your boy, or are you going to go with Howie?
They're both my boy. I voted for both these guys.
Well,
Yeah.
and you lobbied for Bill. Are you going to stick with
God,
that?
they got
to get him on the
everything.
list?
They've got staying power. They've got unique voice. I mean, oh man,
Yeah, entertainment outside of stand-up, shows.
yeah. They got TV. They've got wow.
Their bank
They're both
accounts
kinda-
are all right. They're doing all right.
They're both kind of quirky a little bit,
What do you do?
But I may have to vote Howie just because he's a little bit more unique than Bill. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
All right.
Austin?
Yeah, I didn't vote for him last time, but I'll vote for him this time. Howie. Yeah.
Yeah, this one's easy for me. I vote Howie. I grew up with him, so I'll go Howie. Adam?
Yeah. Last night. Okay, 3 nights ago. Yeah, it's Howie Mandel.
Yeah.
What's your name? What's your name?
Yeah,
What's your
that's
name?
awesome.
I asked you 3 fucking times.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Well,
The best.
Peggy?
the die's already been cast. Howie's advancing, so I'm just gonna give my vote to Bill just because I like real time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jordan, Howie might end up being the dark horse of this tournament. He might
Never
get farther
know.
than people
Yeah.
think.
Never
We'll
know.
see.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm
But who's he
okay.
going up next
It could
round?
be-
Let's find out.
We'll find
Scroll.
out. Who's he going to go?
I was actually listening to this podcast earlier today, so. But we have
Oh my
Rodney
God,
Dangerfield.
Rodney and Eddie.
Okay.
Oh no.
Nah.
All right, and it goes to me. Rodney all day on this one. Pretty easy.
Yeah, we got to give him respect. So yeah, we got to keep the respect train
Low-hanging
going. I got to go Rodney. So
Rodney is
Adam?
just epic comedy. Everybody can do an impersonation of him. Nobody can do an impersonation of the other guy.
Yeah.
Not Rodney.
Eddie Izzard. Yeah.
Eddie Izzard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't even think of his name. There you go.
Yeah,
So
right.
Rodney.
Yeah.
Peggy.
I don't know, Paul. Will it be a clean sweep?
Yep. Paul, what do you think?
Peggy? You're voting Rodney?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. It's interesting because we've chastised some other comedians on here for being very simple, just simple jokes, nothing deep. But
True.
Rodney just does that well. Rodney.
Does
Does
that
it well.
well.
Yep.
But and
Very
the
well.
performance, the character that he brings to it.
Yeah.
man,
Hey,
just
nobody
character.
makes people fall out of their chair on the Tonight Show more than Rodney. If you go by, he makes Dom DeLuise fall over on camera. People, people whoever sitting
Yeah,
next to him just
there you go.
collapse on camera. Yeah, it's. Yeah.
Can't believe I'm losing to a rogue here, right? Yep.
Mhm.
But
All right. Robin
Okay,
Williams.
Williams.
Robin.
went up against
no.
Russell.
Russell Peters. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, Russell. Yeah.
You had a good run, Russell.
Jordan,
I guess
you're
I'm
up
up
first
first,
in this
right?
one, but yeah.
Well, I'm glad I could bring some awareness to Russell Peters, get him at least into
Yeah.
the second round. But
Mhm.
yeah,
Awareness. He does
But-
arenas.
but Robin Williams though makes me laugh harder than anyone on this list. So yeah, I'm going with Robin.
a giant. Robin Williams is a giant of comedy. Like, we will never see another Robin Williams. We will see another Russell
No.
Peters in some form, I feel. But
Yeah,
yeah, Robin Williams, come on.
Yeah.
And we haven't even talked about, like, Aladdin or,
yeah, like
that's
all
how
those
epic
movies.
he is.
Yeah.
Mork for Mork. I mean, Mork and Mindy,
Mork.
I watched that every week as a kid. And I mean, before I ever knew what stand-up was. And man, that guy.
Watch it all the time. Yeah,
Oh, man. Yeah, it's on Pluto TV. It has its own channel.
nice. Well, Peggy.
Like if we were just talking about, was it Laugh Aid that they used to do? Him and Burley Crystal and Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, yeah.
Comic Relief.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Comic
Comic
Relief.
Relief, That's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comic Relief.
It's
Laugh
Robin,
Aid's
it's
actually a better name.
Yeah, right.
That was
yeah.
the original title, actually. Believe it or not. What's the name?
It had to be.
Kaufman's writer talked about that. Bob
okay.
Smuda talked about that.
Smuda.
It was actually going to be called Laugh Aid because it was coming off of Live Aid, and they were going to
Yeah.
have Live Aid,
Let
and they
him-
changed. And then HBO wanted to call it Comic Relief instead. So
Oh,
HBO.
okay.
But still, it's
Yeah.
Robin hands down.
Robin.
All right.
Paul.
Sorry, now that you mentioned Whoopi Goldberg, I'm looking for her on our list. I just
Yeah.
unfortunate.
Did she still even
There's
do
a
it?
few women missing. It's all
Yeah,
right.
we're sorry.
It's okay.
Robin Williams, of course.
Yeah, Robin. It's you put him through.
Yep.
She was more of a
He did.
Leguizamo in that she came out and did characters and told stories, too. I don't think she did a whole lot of straight stand-up, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
But We have Bernie Mac
Bernie.
next, going up against Sinbad.
Sinbad. Ooh,
Right.
Okay. Adam's up
So,
first on this
Adam.
one, so yeah,
Man,
this could be
Bernie
interesting.
Mac, man, I'm still grooving on that riff we went on about how big Kings of Comedy was, how
Yeah,
big
same.
and stand up was in such a weird spot at that time. You know, like I said, comedy albums had died. It was just in a weird post boom era, and to have that movie come out and those people be given such a boost. I mean, it's like, yeah, Sinbad's good. But you got to talk out why he's so good. Bernie Mac, you just look at him and go, oh yeah, that guy, that's right, that guy's hilarious. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Bernie Mac, Bernie Mac.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah,
watch
Peggy.
Bernie Mac right now. I don't want to watch Sinbad right now. I want to put
Yeah,
Bernie Mac
same.
on and listen to that.
Yeah.
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 Peggy.
Sticking with my Chicago connections.
Oh yeah, Chicago as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sinbad.
Oh,
Wow.
all right. Austin.
I'll go Sinbad between these two.
All right.
Love it.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
Need to pause.
so it comes down to me.
It comes down to you,
The
Jordan.
Tiebreaker.
So,
Yeah.
So, well, I think just because of the clip alone that you sent me, Austin, which is one of the best stand-up clips that I've seen in a long time. But what does he do where that cuts in all the music in between, like all the little riffs that he does? Like it's just so good.
You don't understand. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
I ain't scared. Yeah, and then play like a little rap.
I was with my girl. She
Little
said, "Baby, does pussy taste like pumpkin pie?" He goes, "How the fuck would I know, bitch? I never had no pumpkin pie. Kick it."
Yeah, right. Kick it. Yeah. It's just so good. So I got to go with Bernie. Yeah.
Bernie.
All right, Bernie.
Yep.
It sounds Sinbad.
Yep.
What a voice that guy has.
And that's the end of
too,
that
right?
round. So.
You could just
All
hear
right.
Bernie
Gotta
Mac
get
looking at that
into the
picture,
scene,
you know?
Yep. Exactly.
When you girl on the phone,
Lord have mercy,
you have a sex.
you
No,
know-
I gotta pick it up. It might be a job. When she on the phone, give her the dick.
Yeah. So good. So yeah,
Bernie's awesome.
round number 3. So
All
Give me
right,
what the
so
seats
we got Louie.
so,
Elite
Yeah,
Elite
Elite
8.
is it Elite 8? Okay, so
I know.
Oh,
well,
Louis versus Burr.
Is it?
Oh my gosh, Louis versus Burr.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Carlin
Okay.
versus Shandling.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right,
What's
so
coming up?
Louis C.K. and Bill
Who's the hit versus
Burr.
Bill Burr. Yeah, so
All right,
Burr
Peggy's
to
up
you.
first.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Who's
Bill
first?
Burr. I am.
Peggy.
Oh, okay.
Bill Burr. I will be mad if anybody picks otherwise.
Louis C.K.
All right.
My
you're mad.
own faction mates.
Austin.
I listen to way more Bill Burr album-wise, so I'll go Bill Burr.
I got to go with Bill Burr too. Yeah. Adam.
Louis C.K.
Oh man, it was
All right.
close. But Bill
yeah.
Burr,
We will
3 to
have
2.
Words at the next den study
Yeah.
session. Witt, at some
3 to
point,
2.
you and me will discuss.
Yep. Yeah.
Politically, we needed to knock Louis C.K. out anyway, but
Right.
Talent
Yeah.
wise too, because Bill's
It
better.
makes sense. Well, that is the argument, but we have.
oh wow.
No, we're
George-
still in the 16, by the way. We're still in the
Oh,
16.
okay,
We're not in the
16.
8
Yeah.
yet.
Are we?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
My bad.
mhm. All right, so
Yeah,
Gary
George
Shandling and George
Shandling.
Carlin.
Yeah, and George Carlin.
All right, Paul's up
All right,
first.
so Paul, you're up.
Well, listen, it's going to be
Yeah.
Carlin. Lenny Bruce was kind of the reason Carlin is here, but Carlin took that foundation and built skyscrapers on top of it. George
Yeah.
Carlin.
Yeah, Austin.
Carlin, just one of the masters of all time. Carlin.
Well, I said it in the beginning that I thought George Carlin was a heavy favorite to maybe win the whole thing. That was my prediction. So we'll see if that actually happens. But I got to go with Carlin. So, Adam.
Yeah, George Carlin. I mean, the guy did comedy from the 50s through the 2000s. Gary Shandling, he had a couple stand-up acts, maybe one special. I mean, of course, he had all his other shows and stuff. But, man, Carlin is a stand-up giant. You know?
Giant.
Yeah, sorry, Gary, but you had a couple nice wins there. But come on, you're going up against Carlin. Forget it.
Against Carlin, yeah.
Yeah.
Peggy.
All due respect to Gary, it's a clean sweep for George.
Yeah.
For George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Clean
right.
sweep. All right.
Carlin.
So
Okay. Richard Pryor, another heavy favorite. Versus Kevin Hart.
It's
Ooh.
Kevin Hart.
yeah.
All
I
right.
think
It's on me
You're up,
first.
Austin. Yeah.
I will probably get severely outvoted on this one, but I'll go Kevin Hart just for who makes me laugh more. So I'll go Kevin.
All right.
Just on a pure laugh level. That's literally all it is.
Well, for me, if I wouldn't have gone back and visited a lot of Richard Pryor's stuff recently, that I probably would have gone with Kevin Hart, but since I did my research, I got to go with Richard Pryor. So, Adam?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand Kevin Hart making you laugh more, and because Richard Pryor is actually a bit of a intellectual exercise. Some of his jokes are rooted in the time, but man, that voice, I don't mean the actual sound of his voice, but his comedic voice is something special. It's just special. I mean, every time he comes up here, I'm just look at him and I can hear Richard Pryor's voice and just how he delivers his lines and stuff. And it's epic. It's Richard Pryor, man.
Yeah.
Right,
Peggy?
It's Pryor. My boy from Peoria, Illinois. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, Richard Pryor.
Paul?
All right.
One of the top
Pryor.
three probably ever. So, yes.
Yeah. 4-1.
He's another heavy favorite. We'll see how far he goes.
I'm playing under
All right,
duress
we
now
got-
because a spider just crawled and I didn't see where it went.
I have literally walked
fun stuff.
into like a single strand of spider web every
right.
day for like the past 8 days,
Yes.
and freaked out for like the next 5 to 10 minutes, thinking there was a spider crawling on me somewhere.
All right.
Next up, we have Joan Rivers versus Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh,
Ooh, Joan and Jerry. All right. Jordan, you're up first on this one.
Me first?
Joan versus Jerry. Mm-hmm.
This one's easy. Like, Joan Rivers might be my favorite female comedian on the list, but I mean, Jerry Seinfeld's epic. Like, there's a reason why I've seen him every time that he's come to any town that I've lived in, like every single time. So yeah, I got to go Jerry. Adam?
yeah, I mean, Jerry is, it's been a nice run here, Joan, and I think we've all said the nice words that we believe about Joan and her epicness as well. But man, Jerry is real. There he is. Hold on.
It's okay. You got your vote. Do what you got to do. We got your vote.
Yeah. All right.
This is where I
Peggy?
betrayed. This is where I betrayed the sisterhood. Jerry's just a bigger titan in the comedic world than Joan. I think. And when the history book's written on both of them, Jerry it's just he's bigger. Going Jerry.
Yep. Paul?
Jerry. Yeah, Joan's probably the greatest female stand-up of all time, but if you don't want to, put somebody in a category like that, she probably jumps up to the top 5 of all time. She may not make that here, but it's only because she's going against probably one of the top 3 of all time.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
Jerry.
It's Jerry. That's a tough match.
That's a match up between two people who loved
Sorry,
what they
went
do
away.
probably more than anybody else on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah. Austin?
Yeah, did I mention me and Jordan do a Seinfeld show? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's a reason why we do a Seinfeld show and not a Joan Rivers show.
Yeah.
So, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to watch every episode of her Fox interview show, the Joan Rivers.
Yeah,
show.
right.
It's hard to find, hard to track that down.
We'll move on to the next side. All right, so coming up, we got Patrice O'Neill
versus
going up
Gallagher.
against Ooh. This one's tough.
All right, Adam's up first on this one.
Yeah.
You gonna stick with Gallagher?
One of the most famous comedians of all time is Gallagher. People don't remember Patrice O'Neill anymore. That's a shame. I love Patrice O'Neill. Got to hang with him a few times. Very nice guy, very funny guy. But Gallagher, man, I mean, I grew up with Gallagher, of course, but everybody knows Gallagher. He's a sledge-o-matic guy. And he did an hour of stand-up before he smashed one watermelon once a year, every year for Showtime. Yeah, that Gallagher is famous, and he's playing behind me right now. There he is.
Yep. Exactly.
And I've not
I think
played
he's doing his,
a
I think he's doing his "We're Still Stuck in the '60s" song, right?
That's Stuck in the 60s is what I've made it to.
He's singing that. I can tell he's singing a song right now. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, he's bobbing.
Yeah.
Stuck in the '60s.
Yeah.
Da. All right, Peggy.
Peggy, yeah.
Okay, well, there's the added fact of trying to throw a wrench in the equation for both Austin and Adam, since they know exactly what bit is being played on the teeth behind Adam right now.
Yeah. Just from seeing it, just from looking at it.
Yeah, if you ask me which one makes me laugh harder and more consistently, you would think it would be Gallagher because he's an icon, but I'm going Patrice.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, Paul.
It is understandable.
This is the one bracket that goes against my theory that I'm going to vote for who I originally voted for against who I may not have originally voted for, because I voted for Carvey over Gallagher, but I'm voting Gallagher over Patrice. This is the one anomaly in the bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one hurts my soul because I adore Patrice, but I got to go with the guy that I never got to see Patrice live. So that may, and I've seen Gallagher live, so that may puts it over for me. So I'll stick with Gallagher.
Well, for me, for whatever reason, I was never really like tuned into the amazing comedy Gallagher actually did, other than the Sledge-O-Matic, like until just fairly recently. Actually, when you put a clip into our chat for the show, it was literally like the first time that I've seen anything other than the Sledge-O-Matic. Like he wasn't very prevalent in my life growing up. So, but it was an amazing clip. It made me laugh pretty hard. So, but still, I got to go with Patrice O'Neill. I've just seen a little more.
T-O-M-B Tomb, C-O-M-B Coomb, no, Comb, C-O-M-B Comb, H-O-M-B Home, no, H-O-M-E.
Yep.
Although, Adam, I just realized I could have gone with Patrice and pulled the upset and kept him in there, but I stuck with Gallagher. I could have.
H-O-M-E Home, S-O-M-E Some? No, Some.
The English language is fucked up.
Yep, it is.
All right.
Next up, we got the
Eddie Murphy. Here it comes against Chris Rock.
Oh, let's go.
Man.
All right.
The protege.
And guess what? On all the ones that hurt her soul, Peggy's always coming up first.
Yeah.
So Peggy, guess what?
I mean,
good. I don't want to have to speak first on this one.
Yeah.
It hurts it a little bit, but it's Eddie. It's Eddie. Eddie advances in my world. Go ahead.
Yeah. Paul?
It's a shame. It's a shame Eddie stopped, because that worked against him.
Yeah.
You know. And there is the thing you talked about, it some of the product of timing with his jokes not standing the test of time.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I'm going to vote Rock.
Mm.
Screw it. What happens? Does somebody die?
Let's find out.
Vote Rock.
Right.
Austin?
You know, I voted against him in each bracket. This time I'm voting for him. I go Chris Rock on this one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, so I kind of hate to do it, but I just feel like Chris Rock's been doing it like still currently, and like when I listened to the two specials, the Delirious and Raw, like it was all just raunchy humor almost like the whole way through, and when they do it the whole way through, like it just kind of turns me off for some reason. So I got to go Chris Rock. I just like love Chris Rock. So yeah.
I recognize the intellectual argument here, and it is Rock at this point because we are talking about stand-ups. Eddie Murphy transcends that. He is an absolute icon, but still, when it comes to stand-up, you're going to put those two up against each other. Rock's kicking ass. Yeah, let's go Rock. It hurts.
Brings the house down.
Let's go Rock.
But there's a debate to be had with Raw and Delirious versus Bigger and Blacker and Bring the Pain, like doubleheader versus doubleheader. That's a hell of a matchup, like pound for pound.
It is.
So
I mean, we didn't even
Chris
mention. Well, I mean, they were both on Saturday Night Live, but obviously, who was better? Who wore it better?
Well, Eddie wore it better. That's pretty easy.
Exactly.
Putting up in all the
places.
Well,
if we start going over SNL bits, we're going to rescind this real quick.
I know.
Yeah, right.
All right, so we got the dark horse of the tournament, Howie versus Rodney.
Shit, I hate to be the SLOS to start this off.
Paul, it's
you.
Yep. So do you stick with the dark horse Howie, or do you go Rodney? There we go.
I do. I stick with the dark horse, Howie.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. Wow.
Hey,
Right.
we've had interesting things happen on tournament fights. My top 64
Oh, yeah.
movies, The Mummy 1999 made it all the way to the Final Four. So
Yeah,
yeah,
the Mummy all the way. Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, Howie versus Rodney. I've listened way more to Rodney, and I go old school Rodney.
I think for me, I got to stick with the dark horse. Like I think I got to go Howie, just because like I've just listened to him so much more, and he's the one that I seem to go back to. I feel like once I've heard Rodney's stuff, then I've heard it, and it's easily quotable. But I keep going back to Howie, so I got to go Howie. Adam,
You guys are killing me here because I adore Howie. He's absolutely one of my favorite stand-up comedians of all time. I even worked on a TV show pilot and got to work with him in the room.
Oh, wow.
And got to meet an idol of mine. But
Awesome.
when we say best stand-up comedian of all time, Rodney, I think, is going to get my vote. It hurts, but it's got to be Rodney. I'm playing pure logic here. If Howie wins, I'm happy, but I think Rodney.
Well, we're killing
Welcome,
Peggy here.
Peggy.
I guess she gets to break the tie.
yeah, you break it.
Y'all took Eddie away from me. I'm taking Howie away from you. Rodney away.
Oh,
Man, all right.
Oh, there you go.
Well,
Stuck with Rodney.
Yep.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
But you got to admit that looks right there. That
Yeah.
Rodney won that. That looks right.
Yeah.
Well, it does for like an all-time comedian poll.
Right.
Yeah.
He's gonna win that match.
Yep. All right. So next up we have Robin Williams.
No, he's
going up
not.
against Bernie.
This is Bernie
No,
Mac.
he's not.
Oh.
No, he's not.
Oh.
He's not gonna win that next match.
Oh, sorry.
All right, it's to me this time.
Austin. Yeah.
I love you, Bernie. You had a good run, but Robin's going to take you out this time.
Yep. Yeah, Bernie's awesome, but we can't hold a candle to Robin Williams. I feel like Robin Williams is just Robin. So, Adam.
It's just Robin. Look at him. Look at him.
Yeah.
And we've said all the great things about Bernie. It's understood. But just look at Robin Williams. I mean, that is a comedian, an all-time Babe Ruth comedian right there. Boom.
Yeah.
Robin.
Yep.
I know I was hanging
Peggy?
true to my Chicago citizenship, if you will, but you want
That
to
ends now.
I'm pretty sure that Robin was born in Chicago, if not one of the
Oh.
suburbs. So,
Okay.
Robin,
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
might be
Adam.
Oak Park. I'm not sure.
I'm going to fact check that.
Please do.
Yeah.
Please do. It's been a while.
Don't do it till we've locked it in. She said Robin Williams.
Okay.
I said Robin.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Dr. Roof, does size matter? Damn straight, baby. Robin Williams.
Yeah. Damn straight.
Yeah, it's closer. It's
Love
closer. No, not really.
All right. Well, Robin Williams.
Well, Peggy,
Moving on.
you have good instincts because he was born at St. Luke's Hospital in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh!
Yeah. Oh, nice.
All right.
Why
There you
can't I
go.
be asked about that
Chicago,
shit?
baby.
Yeah, Spielberg was born in Cincinnati. Nobody calls him an Ohio boy.
Yeah. Right.
We try to claim everyone we can, you know.
Right.
We claim Jordan. He wasn't from here. He just
All
went
right. All right. Well, we're
Now
getting down to
we're
the
in the Elite
Titans
Eight.
here, so the Elite Eight
Elite
Titans
Eight.
are coming.
So, all right. We'll zoom it out
Here
here
we
just
go.
a little bit.
Oh my God, Burr made it all this way.
Yes, he
Yes.
did, and with good
Burr made
reason.
it all this way.
Wow.
He's not going
Yep.
to make it much further. I don't
Yeah.
think.
He's about to get a loss
Yeah,
here, I would
slapped.
assume.
Go Burr.
But still,
Yeah.
that's pretty
Be
cool.
George Carlin. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I
But
love
Jordan.
Bill.
Yeah, Jordan's
Just
first on
randomness
this
of-
one.
Of tournament fights, we put them in the randomizer. Just all about the matchup.
Is this the Final Four right here?
This is the Elite Eight.
Uh,
We're coming up.
yeah.
We're putting people into.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
putting people
Okay.
into the
Yeah.
Final Four. This is to
Okay.
determine the Final Four.
All
All
right.
right, so
Yep.
what's the first one we're talking here is
Jordan's up first with Burr versus Carlin. Yep.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, Bill Burr, you had a nice run. I find you absolutely hilarious. Like especially for a modern day and age like we have here. Like he's a perfect comedian for our time. I feel like, but yeah. George Carlin is like the legend. I gotta go with George Carlin. So, Adam.
Legend is correct. Bill Burr is not a
Yeah.
legend. George Carlin is a legend. Again, he started in the 50s. He went through to the 2000s, and and we just know so many pieces from him. That voice is so familiar. Everybody could do an impersonation of him right now in their head. So yeah, it's Carlin, baby. He's epic.
Carlin.
He's cut from epic comedian cloth.
Yep, exactly. Peggy?
Carlin was, always will be a legend, but in my mind, Bill will be one day if he isn't already being talked about in that upper echelon.
Oh.
I know Carlin's gonna win, so I'm gonna give Burr my vote.
All right. You had to give him a little love. Paul?
Wow.
Everything comedians enjoy saying today is thanks to George Carlin.
Yep.
George Carlin.
Yep.
Good point. Well put.
Austin?
Yeah, Carlin, 100%.
Love you, Bill.
Yep.
Love you, Bill.
Yeah.
Bye, Bill. Bye.
I carried you
Bye,
as
It's a good
far
run.
as I could, but
Bye,
you
Bill.
made
Yeah,
it
hey,
George goddamn
he's gonna
Carlin.
make it into our Elite 8 poll tomorrow, so
That's
he
right.
made it.
We're good.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
can vote. You can go and vote to your heart's content for Bill Burr. Yeah.
Yeah, but next up we
All right. Pryor.
Richard Pryor,
Richard
going up against Jerry
up against
Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh
my
Oh. Woo. Oh boy.
And what, Adam
And this
starts
one
this
goes
one?
to Adam.
Yeah.
Starts all the way back at the bottom. Wow.
Sorry, Richard Pryor, but Bustin' Loose wasn't that good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was shocked you went on about his movies when he was up against Steve Martin, whose movies I
Yeah.
think are
Yeah.
way better
No,
than Pryor's movies.
well, that's
True,
very
true.
that's very true. That's very
My
true.
little buttercup has a
Yeah.
sweet-
Yeah, no, I can't believe I voted for Richard Pryor in that first round either, but I did. But here's Jerry Seinfeld, and talk about a Mount Rushmore face, and I mean
Yep.
Seinfeld. It's just like we can all
Rushmore.
do the impersonation, man. It's got to be Seinfeld. Sorry, Richard.
Yeah. Peggy?
If you gave me a time machine and gave me like this magic golden ticket, not talking Willy Wonka or anything, but you said, okay, you can go back and see one of these two comedians in their absolute prime. You can either pick Jerry Seinfeld or you can pick Richard Pryor. I'm going to see Pryor.
All right.
That's
All right.
well put.
Fair enough.
Well
Fair
put.
enough.
Paul?
Paul.
I like to think there's no winning here, but there's really no losing here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jerry
right.
Seinfeld.
All right, Austin.
Yeah, this one's not as hard for me because I haven't really been on the Pryor train at all the whole time, but I'm with Jerry Seinfeld 100%. So this one goes to Seinfeld.
Yep. What's the deal with Jerry Seinfeld against Richard Pryor here? Come on. So yeah, I got to go with Jerry Seinfeld all the way. Just like everyone can do the impression. He's iconic. Like he's known worldwide. I got to go with him.
And he's
But-
funny.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
Did
Hey,
that just
Pryor
really
got
happen?
his-
Did that just
Yeah.
really happen? Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Just happened. So he's in the
Okay.
final four. So
It's a bunch of white people voting for Jerry Seinfeld. What are you
Yeah,
gonna do?
bet.
yeah. But
So I did
moving
not.
on.
All right.
Well, nobody wins the
Yeah.
category of whitest comedian more than Gallagher, but
Yeah, right. Jim,
Maybe Jeff
I would
Dunham.
say-
Maybe.
maybe
I would
Jeff
say-
Dunham. Yeah, that's true.
I
That's
would
true.
say
Yeah.
Gaffigan had an album called like
Gaffigan.
Pale.
Yeah, Beyond the
Pale.
Pale.
Beyond the Pale.
Beyond
yeah.
the Pale, yeah.
So-
Right. But
Uh,
we have Gallagher versus Chris Rock.
versus Chris Rock.
I love that Gallagher made it this far. This is
I
makes my
love it,
heart
yeah.
One of the
so
whitest
good.
versus one of the most black.
Yeah.
Peggy, would you do the honors? Yeah.
with Peggy?
Again, without a second hesitation, Chris Rock.
Yeah. Paul?
Paul.
I rode your Gallagher train, Adam, for quite some time. It was a nice ride. Chris Rock.
Yep. Austin?
Gallagher.
All right. Well, I think for me, just overall, I got to go with Chris Rock, I think.
You haven't seen enough Gallagher, Jordan. I should have sent you
No,
more.
Man, almost, Adam. If
I've
you
not
went
seen
Gallagher, you could have closed the deal.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm not tie breaking with my vote, right? It's going to Rock.
No,
right?
no,
Yeah.
it's going to Rock. Yeah.
Okay,
But
so
you
I'll
can vote for
give Gallagher the
Alright.
vote,
Close.
and
Yeah.
knowing that
No,
Rock
nothing.
is an amazing comedian, and yes, probably a better comedian than Gallagher. But I'm glad Gallagher got all this respect because people forget.
Yeah.
Hey, he's going to be in the same poll as Jerry Seinfeld and Robin Williams and Richard Pryor. and
that's
Rodney
amazing.
Dangerfield,
That's
which is
amazing.
So you can go vote for him.
I love that Gallagher went up against Chris Rock for the Elite Eight. That's
Right.
amazing.
Right.
I feel like my work is done here. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
But not Steve
Robin
Martin,
versus
not
Sue.
Jay Leno.
Robin, I forget.
But Mario-
Steve Martin, that was tough.
Just real quick, so like to give him some thoughts on a couple matchups there. So, but yeah, so we'll move down to Rodney
and Robin.
Versus Robin.
Rodney and Robin.
All right.
Oh, this one is. So who's up first?
All right. Paul Preston is up first.
Robin
on
Williams.
this one. Rodney and Robin. Robin. Okay.
Ron Williams. Austin?
Yeah, man, I love Rodney, but for sheer variety of material on this one, I'll go Robin, because Rodney was like fairly not one joke, but like basic premises. Robin had more variety, so I'll go Robin.
I was definitely some Catskills style, but he was the master of it. But yeah.
Oh no,
Yeah,
he's the
yeah.
master. Yeah, nobody beats him in that
master,
style, but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, this one's kind of easy for me, believe it or not. So, Robin Williams. So, yeah, you got my vote. Adam?
Yeah, I mean, sheer joy brought to the masses. Robin Williams, man, it's transcends so many generations and so many mediums, and it's Robin Williams. He's an epic comedian.
He is. Peggy?
Yeah, I don't think Robin's ever done a triple Lindy, but that is not important. Robin Williams.
yeah, true.
Help
All
me
right,
straighten out my long fellow.
All right,
Robin
we're
Williams.
down to the final four. In the final four, first matchup, we have we got George Carlin versus Jerry Seinfeld.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
There we go. That's our final four. So.
All right.
So, who's up first?
Yeah.
Is it you, Austin?
Me. Yeah, me.
Yeah.
Man, Carlin and Seinfeld, dude. You know what? As much as a Seinfeld fan as I am, when it comes to pure raw stand-up and what I listen to more, as far as that goes, I watch more Seinfeld. I listen to more Carlin. Goes to Carlin on this one.
Yeah. Well, for me, George Carlin was the one that proved anything can be funny. You can make a joke about anything, even rape. You can make a joke about anything, and if you do it in the right context and it's delivered the right way, anything can be funny. He's the one that told us all that, and that holds very true for me. So yeah, I got to go with George Carlin.
Yeah, the added bit of politics with all the goofiness stuff that he did, but the added bit of thinkers, the things that really made you think and actually made a little bit of a difference in how you thought of stuff, besides just pure rote observation. Both masters, obviously, but man, it's Carlin. I'd say Carlin.
Yeah, I can't
He's epic.
Peggy?
I can't put it any more eloquently than Adam just did or Paul has done previously. It's Carlin.
Yeah, it's Carlin. He's special. He's so special.
The National Comedy Center in Jamestown, New York was a thing. It's something they wanted to do, but it actually came to existence when they got their first real piece of comedy that they could build the place around. And it was every one of George Carlin's notes given to him given to the museum by their estate. You can go through and scroll through them. They've digitized them all. You can see everything where he just writes down rights,
Jamestown, New York?
Privileges. Yeah.
How far outside of New York is that?
It's like 8 hours.
Damn it.
The other side is south of Buffalo.
I was hoping to
to
incorporate that
Ohio.
with the October event if I possibly could.
Just a
That'd be great.
cross-country road trip. And what Carlin did was an economy of words. That's what made him so. That's what I love is when you see the right. I mean, Seinfeld does this too, but Carlin really pared it down to just what you need, no more, no less than to get the joke across.
Yeah.
And so combining
Precise.
that idea with the idea of Jordan said that there's nothing you can't laugh about. I'll leave you with this joke he did about anorexia. Again, minimizing the amount you need to say to get the joke across.
Yeah.
Rich cunt, don't want to eat? Fucker.
Yep. There you go.
You would not hear that coming out of Seinfeld's mouth.
Nah.
You would not. Well,
all right, it's clean sweep for Carlin. He goes to the final.
For George Carlin.
All right, and this is another
On the other
tough one.
side, Yeah, we got Chris Rock versus
Chris Rock and Robin Williams. Man.
You guys want to
And
go first?
our host Jordan is up first. Yeah, so Rock versus
Man,
Williams.
this one's tough.
There we go.
Oh man. I think just from what I've said the entire episode is that nobody in this entire bracket makes me laugh harder than Robin Williams. I got to give it to Robin Williams. So, Adam.
All right, Adam.
Oh, what a tough one, huh?
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, Robin Williams is a very just what a famous comic voice. But man, Rock really brought something from a different generation. And I know Robin Williams and George Carlin are a different generation too, but I mean, Robin Williams only did a couple stand-up specials. You know, he really was known for other mediums, whereas Rock kind of changed stand-up. Like he comes out of that era where stand-up comedy albums had died. You know, there were no concert films and that sort of stuff. So he really just reinvigorated comedy in a pretty cool way. Whereas Robin Williams, you know, did a couple stand-up shows, but then mostly other stuff. We know him mostly from not stand-up, frankly. Whereas Rock, we know mostly from stand-up. So actually, I'm going to pull an upset here. I'm going to say Chris Rock, actually. For stand-up comedian of all time, he brings a lot of stand-up, that Chris Rock. And Robin Williams brings a lot of Robin Williams, which we love, but a little less stand-up. I think it's going to tip for Chris in that way.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. 1-1. So Peggy.
Yeah.
Where's Peggy going this one?
It pains me to do it, and I still maintain it should be Eddie in the position, but I gotta go Rock. I gotta go Rock.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
For all the reasons that Adam just said.
I mean, that's some pretty big defeats that Rock's had too. He defeated Eddie. I mean, he's barreling away.
So.
Yeah.
This is like the George Mason of the tournament right here. This is.
He's the George Mason of the tournament.
George Mason. Yeah. Yeah. So Paul.
This is Butler right here.
Hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
To me, it's the race to see who loses to North Carolina.
Yeah, right.
Duke. The big choices, I think, were already made on the other side of the bracket. I mean, it's Carlin, Seinfeld, Pryor, probably 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Not in that order. But so I'll go with Robin.
Yeah.
He's got to put it on me.
Austin.
Is that a split?
I mean,
it's
easy to say, Robin.
Yeah. Let's see. Gotta go with your heart, man.
Yeah. You know what? Shaq is rich, but the guy who signs his checks is wealthy.
Yeah.
Chris Rock.
Yeah, sure.
Chris Rock pulls the upset.
Yeah, pulls the upset.
That was something about.
Yeah, quite an upset. But I mean, Rock has beaten some Robin Williams level people so far.
You can't say he doesn't deserve it though. Like he made comedy back in the 90s. He brought comedy back in the 90s. Like he's one of the guys that did it.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, stand-up was totally reinvigorated by him.
Stand-up was dead in the mid-90s. Yeah, and he's one
But I will say though,
commitment will give you a headache once in a while. New pussy will always make you smile.
I mean, basically, you know, the George Carlin and Rock are kind of some similar material too. It's actually a pretty good matchup in that way. Like I can hear Carlin saying that joke, Peggy.
That's fair.
You will say though that Robin Williams died though, like
New pussies and letters.
and in the manner that he died too, that really hit me. Like I was depressed probably for a couple of days when I heard about that. Like that just hit me hard. Like probably harder than like any person on this list. Just the way that he died. He seemed so happy. It's like you never know what kind of struggles people might be dealing with behind closed doors. You never know.
Right.
So
true.
It's crazy. But
all right,
but anyways,
Jordan, we have our championship for the title.
Our championship,
George Carlin and Chris
Only
Rock.
took 3 hours and 27 minutes.
Yeah, only took 3.5 hours to get there. Hey, but it was, it was worth the argument because this is a big one. I mean, this is
it's very exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. So what's it going to be? And
wanted to create this show was for this specific topic. So So I don't mind.
And wouldn't it be appropriate that we start with the man who's had the most to say tonight? We start with Adam.
Yeah, with Adam.
George Carlin.
Yep.
It's short and sweet.
I've said a lot of words tonight.
Yes.
I just have two. George Carlin.
Yeah. George Carlin. Mm-hmm.
These guys are both obviously in the conversation for like the Mount Rushmore of stand-up comedy, but you want to know which one is going to be mentioned more often than the other? It's George Carlin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Paul?
Yeah, it's an interesting topic or interesting thing to point out that they neither of them get up there and they go, weird thing happened to me the other day. They instead take a topic and just dissect it and give their thoughts through the interesting statements about it instead of saying, my wife's all crazy the way, you know. So I appreciate
their punchlines are arrows too, you know, both of them is like right at you.
So I appreciate both these guys. But you ever notice how you don't get laid much on Thanksgiving? That's because all the coats are on the bed, George Carlin.
Yeah. Yep. Good times. Austin?
You ever notice how the people who are against abortions are the ones you wouldn't want to fuck anyways?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, this one, oddly enough.
Yeah.
Tell him Air Marshal Carlin said, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, right.
Did I miss a swearing-in ceremony?
Captain, who made these guys a captain? You're a fucking pilot.
Here's another group of people who want to be thrown out of a flying helicopter.
Right.
Yeah, no.
Hey, I'm gonna go rewatch George Carlin bits after this.
Yeah, I think it might be a Carlin rewatch tonight.
No, oddly enough, the championship is not as hard as some of the other matchups on here, dude.
Yeah.
It's Carlin. It's Carlin for me by a mile. I mean, no disrespect to Chris Rock, I put him through to the championship, but he goes up against Carlin, and Carlin is who I pretty much thought was going to make it and win. So, yeah, it's Carlin.
Wow.
Yeah, but I would say that hands down, he's the smartest comedian on the entire list. Like, just for like some of the bits, like his bit on like global warming, and there's so many. Like, I'm not going to repeat them all because some of them go a little long, but they're so good. So yeah, I got to go with George Carlin. And surprisingly, I didn't think that it'd be this easy for the championship match, but it's easier than I thought. I'll just go with George Carlin. So
the planet isn't going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. Exactly.
We are.
We are. Yep. Exactly.
A surface nuisance.
Yep.
Wow! Look at that bracket.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was interesting.
I'm gonna zoom it out to see how big it actually was.
Wow.
See that?
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
Man.
So I need to see more Patrice O'Neill.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The comedians you need to watch more.
Patrice is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to watch some Patrice.
And Jordan needs to watch some. You need to watch some Gallagher's, like some actual Gallagher specials, Jordan.
Yeah, Amazon Prime. They're all on Amazon Prime.
He's great.
All right.
He's really good.
For sure. Yeah, we're probably doing that tomorrow.
Anybody out there who's not a Dave Attell fan, go watch Dave Attell. He's awesome.
Bumping mics. Yeah.
And
not a stand-up, but.
A little shout out to my boy Theo Vaughn. We had to bump off the list. Like, he's one of my favorite.
That was the whole thing, guys. That was the whole
comedian.
Yeah.
Of like just purely coming up with like jokes on the spot. Like, he's so good at it. So like, I would recommend his podcast this past weekend. I'll just say that. So
and one of my personal picks who I sacrificed for the greater poll was Jim Norton. I'm a big Jim Norton fan, so I had to sacrifice him, who I'm a big fan of. But and like I said, Andy Kaufman I would have, but then I thought about it, and he wouldn't have liked that anyway. So I would leave him off.
My favorite comedian is Paul F. Tompkins, but we were already into discussion. I'm like, I'm not bringing up Paul F. Tompkins and putting him up against these guys.
Are we just shouting out stand-up comedians, up-and-coming stand-up comedians we love?
You can go ahead and give a shout out to give some love to somebody.
A guy named Chris Porter. Look up Ugly and Angry. It's one of my favorites. We're talking girls. There's a chick named Taylor Tomlinson who's coming up.
Oh yeah,
she's good.
I know that name.
Yeah. Tom Segura, I'm a big fan of. Who didn't make the list. Very good.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple out there. Yeah, we had to leave off. Honorable mentions.
But
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm naming people they're nowhere near being the top 64 of all time. But I'm just saying,
right.
if you're gonna
Oh yeah,
name
no,
Theo
people
goddamn
who
Vaughn,
make
that
you
would-
laugh. Yeah, people who make
Yeah.
us laugh though. There's always, Paul F. Tompkins makes Adam laugh. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think he's great on Comedy Bang Bang. Like he's awesome every time
Yeah,
he goes on that.
same.
Like I love him.
Yeah.
So like I'm a big fan, but yeah.
But
Yep,
you
yep.
can't hold a candle to Gallagher, you know?
No,
Yep.
no.
I'm so happy Gallagher made
can?
it so many rounds. That's so great.
Oh man,
Yeah.
he made it to the Elite Eight, man. He's in there. It's
He'll be in the
awesome.
vote of greatest stand-up comedians all time. Steve
all
Martin
time,
won't.
he's in the
Jay
poll.
Leno won't, but Gallagher
right.
will be.
Steve Martin had to go up against Richard Pryor.
Nice work, randomizer.
Yep, right. Randomizer. That's it. That's what
All
does it.
random.
But yeah, so now that we're at the 3-hour mark, we'll just quickly go around the horn. And if you have anything you want to promote, you tell us where we can find you. So,
Three
but
and a half.
Ford
But yeah,
Fiesta.
Yeah.
it's been a long show. But we'll start with Peggy. Where can we find you?
Yeah, it's not really, it doesn't have anything that's like of real note for the Ford Fiesta, which we'll hear about in just a
Right.
moment from these guys. I have a show over on one of the family's feature presentation productions, that Facebook page. I host a show every Wednesday called Fantasy Film Fights. A little bit similar to this, where we just do a fantasy draft of different movie topics. This upcoming Wednesday, we are drafting Spielberg movies, which will be interesting.
Mhm.
Fun one. So
Awesome,
check that out if you ever
awesome.
get a chance. And then I am at Peggy B. Ball on all the social media platforms that I partake in. And hopefully you will see me in the movie trivia Schmodown again soon. Hopefully I make it into the singles tournament. We'll find out.
Yes.
Mm.
Well, sounds good. And Adam, where can we find you?
I can be seen on Movie Hero Tournament Fights, number 6, best ever comedians of all time. In fact, I think most of today I've been on that.
Yeah.
But of course,
He said
Paul.
the same
Gallagher's
thing
been through.
yesterday.
Gallagher's
Exactly.
been through 4 specials since we went through the show. So just
Yeah, Gallagher is
Yeah,
now
right.
on special number 4.
on a 4.
But when I'm not on this show, I can be seen on this show not editing the Ford Fiesta, which I should be doing right now. But the Ford Fiesta podcast, please look that up anywhere. That is Paul and I, and we discuss every single Harrison Ford movies starting from the very first. And Paul will give you more details on that.
Awesome. Well, Paul, where can we find you?
Well, you can find news on the Ford Fiesta at the Movie Guys. We didn't get our own handle
What's
for the Ford
coming
Fiesta.
up on the Ford Fiesta, Paul? What's coming up
What's the
next?
next movie?
Yeah.
Our next movie will be Heroes. Heroes is the movie that he shot before Star Wars, but it was released after Star Wars. And it stars Sally Field, and she made the film before Smokey and the Bandit, but it came out after Smokey and the Bandit. So now people who watch Star Wars and Smokey and the Bandit can watch Heroes and be disappointed.
All right.
I like
Fair
to call
enough.
our show the most fun you've had with movies you haven't heard of. And that's this.
Nice.
Soon we're going to launch into Ford's career. Like from 80, it's like Empire, Raiders, Blade Runner,
Right.
Jedi,
Right.
Yeah,
Temple
we're
of Doom,
about to hit.
Witness. Yeah, he's about to just take off.
Yeah,
But not to
yeah.
blow up. But
These shows are
Wherever-
especially interesting. So get in now and hear us talk about movies that are the offshoots of his career. Force 10 from Navarone after this one with Robert
Yeah.
Shaw. And so, yeah, it's just a breakdown. Sometimes we have some special guests. Ken Knapsack from the Schmodown came and joined us for the Star Wars one. We'll have some more Schmodown
Nice.
people joining us as we go along. So at the Movie Guys everywhere. TheMovieGuys.net is the website where a lot of this stuff is housed, and you can find there now. I went to my first press screening and premiere of a movie. Adam and I went on Monday to see for Mad Men Only, the stories of Del Close, and all this talk of comedians tonight.
Okay.
Del Close, if you don't know, and Peggy should, because that's right from Chicago. Del was the great improv guru behind many of the people in comedy today who hit it huge, from aforementioned Farley to Tina Fey to Gilda and Bill Murray and et cetera, et cetera. And there's a documentary about him. So if you're like, who is he? This is how you find out. You go and watch this doc. And I shot some red carpet interviews and made that into a video as well that you can watch at themovieguys.net. Plus tons of articles, reviews, and podcasts, et cetera.
Nice. Well, Austin, you have anything you want to promote? I know you can.
Yeah, that
find you
that
here,
hero
but-
story is kind of like Chris Hemsworth filming Cabin in the Woods 2 years before Thor. Then it comes out after Thor, so they promote it as Thor in a horror movie. You know,
Yeah.
so,
A Thor
yeah.
movie.
Yeah, right.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done, sir.
Zing. Yeah.
But no, I'm pretty much on most of the shows you see on here on the Movie Hero Network. We do have one we're going to try to film this weekend. Finally, one of our monthly shows live from Movie Hero about classic SNL. So we're going to be talking about one from season 12 with host Willie Nelson, and then we're also going to be, for our wild card episode, talk about 2001's episode with Conan O'Brien to celebrate his retirement from late night. So go back to when he hosted SNL, going back to his SNL days. And then we also host a Seinfeld show once a month called Hello from Movie Hero.
Yep.
And we talk about hello. Hello. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So we do those monthly, so those are a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you can find me all over the Movie Hero Network hosting things like tournament fights. We have a tournament fight actually coming up 2 days from now that we're going to be doing. We're going to have a double dose this week. We're going to be doing best Star Wars characters of all time. So we have a pretty fun lineup coming up for that. We've got a couple of the Schmodown competitors from the Dragon Con. So we're going to have Thomas Harper. We're going to have Marie. No,
Wilson.
I was spacing on her last name. Wilson, that's right. Sorry, I was spacing on her last name. But Marie Wilson, yep. And then we're going to have Evan Bushkar, gold leader. We're also going to have one of the newer free agents, Ross Arsenal, also.
Hey!
Yeah, so that's
in
really,
the house.
It's
yeah, so that's
basically
an awesome time.
it's basically Vader or Han Solo, right? Those are the two most interesting characters.
Well,
It's the
I mean,
journey.
depending on Vader and Han Solo could come up in the first round against each other, given the randomization of the tournament.
Yeah.
Oh, they're the
So you
Steve
never
Martin
know.
and
Never know,
Pryor
yeah.
of Star Wars.
Yeah, you never know with the randomization.
Yeah, if anything's
what
possible.
happens. Mhm.
We're at like 3 hours and 39 minutes. I guarantee you that one goes like 5 hours. So peace.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to emphasize speed on that one. But then also next week we're going to be putting together a tier ranker fight for the best alternative and summer sports movies. So we're just pulling things because of the Summer Olympics going on. We're just pulling things from like all different categories of sports that aren't necessarily mainstream.
Yeah.
So if you would like to join us,
Bicycling.
Peggy, you're always welcome.
Yeah,
we got like
we got like tennis and bicycling,
volleyball,
track
tennis.
and field.
Over the
Yeah,
top.
all this stuff.
Oh, arm
kinda
wrestling.
thrown together.
Yep,
Arm
yep.
wrestling. Sure.
I have over the top right here.
Not a lot of ping pong movies.
Skating. Yeah, right.
There's
right.
one. Balls of
Yeah.
Fury.
Yeah.
Oh, right, there is.
Yeah.
Balls of
Right.
Fury.
So,
Yep, there is one. Mm-hmm.
yes, we
What
have
did
that
you have,
coming up.
Peggy?
I
Yeah.
mentioned I have over the top on the wall over here. Hang on a
Oh.
second.
Over
mentioned-
the top.
Is it this shot with the arm?
Meet me halfway.
Yeah.
It is.
Uh-huh.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Over and over.
The top. Yeah.
But
And
that's part
also,
of
too-
our sport. That's part of our sports series. So we're jumping to that just to tie it in with the Olympics, and then we're going to be doing We're going to be doing Peggy's favorite sport and Jordan's favorite sport, basketball. After that, in our sports
Yeah, that was
series,
coming
so we'll
up,
be doing
so,
basketball
yeah.
movies. So if anybody wants basketball, you can jump into that.
Yeah, but then recently we did one for each of the three of us on the Movie Hero panel. We did our top 64 favorite movies of all time. So we have someone from the community. We have Jacob Barber who came up with his list of top 64. So we're going to let one of the viewers do their top 64 list on the show. So that should be a fun time. So, and then also you can find me over in the Showdown Friends and Family group over on Facebook. We'll be putting up that poll of the Elite Eights. If you want to go and vote tomorrow, you can go vote for that. You can let us know what you think of our final 8 picks. And if you have anything that you want to promote, any special project, or you got a YouTube channel you want to promote, you can promote your arts content over there. So yeah, that's pretty much where you can find us. And also you can find us all over like Twitter and Instagram at Movie Hero 2121. So I always want to give that a shout out. So.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this has been a lot of fun.
All right.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
It's a very long
Very
episode. yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I take the blame for that. I went 2 minutes, I think, in my first opening speech.
It's all right.
Back
All right.
the entire
What
thing.
happens?
Well, this was a great recording.
We thought We thought our longest one so far of tournament fights was, I think we did one that was like 2 hours and 40 minutes maybe 2 weeks ago, and we've eclipsed that by an hour. So, yeah. And we thought that one was
a great recording. When you
fun.
guys edit it down, just send me the link and I'll share it with you.
Yeah, right.
We'll edit it down to 30 minutes, and it'll just be the straight votes with no discussion whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah. Just be like quick cuts of all the votes. Yeah. But anyway, thanks again. So for Peggy, for Adam, for Paul, for Austin, I've been Jordan Laugh Riot Anderson tonight, and we will see you next time.